If you've ever had to run out on Christmas Eve to buy last-minute Christmas gifts for someone because you forgot, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Let me know today what your best and worst Christmas gifts of all time were as we celebrate Christmas Eve here today on Benzinga's Market Edge Live. So happy Tuesday, December 24th. It is Christmas Eve. As you will undoubtedly recall, we have a half day today, but that's okay because we're going to make some money. We've got some stuff moving around. We're going to find more stuff that's moving around. We're going to get trades set up, and we're going to go into Christmas all happy. We're going to have some fun here today. So let's just go ahead and get it rolling. All right, folks, good morning and welcome back. Merry Christmas Eve. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today, especially those of you on Christmas. Jay Harris, good morning. Welcome back. Russ, good morning. Welcome back. Jay Walker, welcome back, man. Merry Christmas. Seahorse Trading, Sun-Kissed Yogi, Austin, Bernhard, Drew, Paul. Welcome, everybody. Merry Christmas. I hope you all are having a great day here today. Great. I need one option play so I can send my fam some funds for Christmas in Mexico. Okay. We're going to try to do that. We'll see what we end up getting here. No promises, but we shall see on the option play here today. We're going to find some stuff, that is for sure. Tom, good morning. Merry Christmas. Fairchild, good morning. Chris, good morning. 3D, Feliz Navidad. Yes, good morning. Merry Christmas. Laura, Merry Christmas. Good morning. Philip, is that Phil or Phil? Excuse me. Hello. Good morning, Larry. Good morning. Okay, let's go ahead and break everything down. News flow's a little bit light here today. I am getting some conflicting reports out of Nakatomi Tower about some type of disturbance there. We'll be sure to check back in on that a little bit later, see if it affects the market. Let's go ahead and load up Benzinga Pro right now. We'll take a look here at the SPY. We are continuing our bounce. So we did come in towards this 582.30 level, which we had marked off. This was a previous all-time high that we had snapped and gapped above and then traded to new highs. That's when we were flirting with the trend line here and all of that. We are continuing to bounce from that. Now, the one thing that I think is notable is these volume sticks. Yesterday, I would not have been shocked to see us trade up a little bit, have a green day, but do so on light volume. And when I say light volume, I mean somewhere in like a 20 million share range. But we traded more than that. I think we were above 40 million yesterday. So the volume has come back since that Powell presser, both to the downside and to the upside. Now, we did, obviously, yesterday, we recaptured the 50-day. We closed above it. Today, we look to open above it. So that becomes one of our key levels here this morning. 591.83 is that 50-day moving average. We definitely want to close above that. The fact is that we had multiple closes, but below that level, making that level resistance. And now that we're trading back above it, we want that resistance to become support. So several closes above that would help that cause. We'll see if we get that here today. And then as far as an upside level, we definitely want to shoot for 600. The round number, the whole 9 yards. Now, the other level that we want to take a look at here is going to be the high from Friday of last week. So I think I gave this number to you yesterday. I think we had that at 595.75 is that high. Excuse me. So if we're able to snap that, I think we probably move towards 600. Perhaps we can trade above 600 and get the SPY to roll here. Last day prior to the fabled Santa Claus rally. So we'll see if we get that to help us with some of those gains there. I can't remember. Some of you had year-end SPY targets or S&P targets. I know in the happy hour we had a couple that were 615, 620. I don't think we're going to get there, but who knows? Who knows what happens with the half day here today, and then with the 1, 2, 3, 4 full sessions. That was the other thing I wanted to remind you folks. A week from today is New Year's Eve. That is not a half session. That is a full session. So we're going to go straight from the close to the club with the drink of choice, with the adult beverage of choice for New Year's Eve. But anyway, we have 4 full days after today. So we'll see where the SPY finishes up. Currently, SPY here, 595.41. All right, so that's what I got for the broader market. Let's go ahead and dive into the regular or to the single stock stories. We're also going to take a look at the movers. I know it's normally we do normally do the T3 guys on Tuesday, not today for Christmas Eve. So we got more time together. We can talk about eggnog. We can talk about holiday recipes. We can talk about presents. We can talk about stocks or charts. We can talk about whatever you want. We are here to have a good time today, that's for sure. So I do want to break down some of the news here. Before we have a good time, guess what? There are some people not having a good time. Who are those people? Those are people that are trying to fly on American Airlines flights this morning. We got news about an hour ago that American Airlines was grounding all flights due to tech issues. Sounds like someone kind of just kicked the power cord out of the outlet. I'm not sure. Busiest travel day of the year. This is less than ideal. Now you can see here American Airlines, very quick reaction to that. We're actually right back to flat here. I didn't see anything on the news about this being resolved. FAA says ground stops and canceled. So this is good, right? So here, let's take a look at the FAA advisory. Okay, so here it actually is destination. Okay, so the ground stop has been canceled. Okay, sweet. So we got a little bit of a scare there early on, and it looks like now that has been resolved. So, okay, still glad that I touched on that story, frankly, but good stuff there. American Airlines right back down to flat here at about down by about 0.3%. You can see we really kind of dipped to 1640. I suppose that represented a buy opportunity, but this seems to be back now. One of the things I couldn't help but notice, there were people out there floating rumors about this being connected to CrowdStrike, CRWD. We have no indication that that is the case. So I saw those rumors earlier. CrowdStrike was down fractionally when those rumors were being passed around, but everything seems to be back to normal now. I'll tell you this, man, O'Hare, I would not want to be at O'Hare on Christmas Eve when all flights are getting grounded. That would be terrible. I already, I get anxious when I travel and all of that, and being in the airport on Christmas Eve when all flights are stopped. Oh my, that would really be awful. So glad to see that's resolved. Really good stuff. One news catalyst, one news story here out of the way. Next that we want to talk about here is going to be Microstrategy, MSTR. We can also take a look at some of the ETFs, MSTU and MSTX. Microstrategy ETFs face tracking error because of volatility. Here are the risks to the investors. I know we talk about Microstrategy quite a bit here, and I know that a lot of you folks actually end up trading this. So I thought that I'd surface this here for you today. I went ahead and threw the article there in the chat if you want to take a look at this. But basically what they're saying is that if you're trading some of these ETFs, MicroStrategy, the underlying asset, MicroStrategy, the underlying asset to these ETFs is MicroStrategy. It's so volatile that it actually makes tracking some of these ETFs more difficult. My only takeaway from this early on, I kind of want to see how this plays out over time to get a better idea of how impactful this is actually going to be. But my initial thought on this is that this is one of the reasons why it's just not worth it to, in some cases, to hold these things, especially these things that are levered with the degradation and all of that. It's just not worth it. They're great trading vehicles, especially if you can really kind of time the direction correctly. They can really be profitable for you. But these can also be very, very dangerous. And it's not worth It's not worth taking the risk in some cases. So just something I wanted you folks to be aware of. I wanted you folks to kind of go over this. Thought this was kind of interesting. As far as Microstrategy, the underlying asset goes, we've actually had some good news recently. One of the things that you can see here is I actually had this head and shoulders that did look like it's forming. Now we can kind of delete this drawing and then redraw. We're cheating a little bit here, right? Because we're altering the drawing to fit the price narrative that follows here. But it does still look like it's kind of making this formation here. Now, the good news that we got is while we broke down from several of these support levels, both the support range that's outlined by the purple shaded area, which, by the way, by the way, I want to extend that here out to here because I think we're going to continue to deal with that range. Although we broke that range, we actually did find some support at the 50-day moving average. Now, this is great. This is really what we hope for. We'll see if we come in and test some more of these moving averages. But the fact that this stock moved back down to it and so far looks to be obeying it, this is ideal for us to be able to trade this going forward. So value on that 50-day moving average, 322.79. That is still 13 points above where we're at now. That's definitely going to be one of the levels to watch here today if it can hold that. I would say the upside level to really watch pretty much the top of yesterday's candle, maybe a little bit higher. I've got that value at 359.74. Maybe let's call that 360, 361. That looks to be the bottom end of this former support range, which now might be resistance. So Microstrategy here. We got to figure out which direction we're going to go. We got to figure out which one of these support or resistance is stronger. Do we break down and maybe test some of these levels beneath? We also have a potential gap fill down here if we end up breaking that prior to the 100-day, or do we actually push back through this resistance area and trade to the upside? I'd say this: if we were able to get back up to 383.40 and move through it, I feel like that would do real well for invalidating this pattern, and I actually might try trading it at that point. I'd probably use the underlying instead of one of those levered assets that we just talked about. But this would be one of the things that I'd be looking for. So that's the chart. Also with MicroStrategy, MicroStrategy plans a special shareholder vote to support its $42 billion Bitcoin acquisition strategy. Michael Saylor says proposal support 2121 plan. So we'll see where that ends up going here. I'm pretty sure. Let me get you that again. Here, that's a separate article here for MicroStrategy. If you're interested in that, there you go. Really good stuff here. I actually am going to talk to some Bitcoin people over the Christmas break here. I'm going to ask them a couple of questions. I'll let you know what I find out about potential trades. All right, let's see. Let me catch up here on the chat. Oh, okay. White chocolate mocha. You're playing along. The worst Christmas gift. I was 14 and my grandma bought me a tiger t-shirt, but it was actually a calico cat. Okay, well, nothing wrong with cats. I have actually had a calico cat. They're pretty awesome. But I'm sorry that that's the worst gift. I will say this: if that's the worst gift that you got, you've done pretty well. I one time got, I don't even know why. I think it was more of a joke. I one time got a gift that was a natural way to remove earwax. My brother, who lives in California, I know, say less, got me like this little cone, and that you light the top of the cone on fire and the heat draws. It was silly. We had fun trying it out. Don't really think it worked. It wasn't bad. It didn't hurt anybody, but it was just like, WTF. I would say that's probably the worst Christmas gift that I got, but appreciate hearing that. White chocolate mocha. Super sticker, 4 USD. Pear character exaggeratedly stretching his arm forward to offer a cup of coffee. I'll be honest, white chocolate mocha, I have no idea what that means. I'm trying. I like to think of myself as a somewhat smart person, but I have no effing idea what you are talking about right there. Where do we send our Xmas sweater picks? Oh, Danny. We're going to make today interactive. Let's go. Here you go. I'm going to go ahead and throw my email, my work email here in the chat, and I will continue to load this up. If I'm ignoring you, remind me to go check my email. If you send me a picture of your Christmas sweater, I will put it on stream. So be sure that this is what you want to do. By sending me that picture, you consent for me to display that picture to the rest of the group here. Okay, tea time with Lord Ryan. Keith, good morning. Merry Christmas. I'm locked in with some tea, bro. I've got the coffee already done. We're locked in with some tea. Really good stuff. Half session today, Eggnog Nation. World Peas, man. You enjoy that eggnog. I'm going to stick to wine. Oh, I see. Producer already said put it on Twitter and tag. Okay, that way will work too. Producer, tag team that with me. I only have two eyes, and sometimes if I'm watching markets and scanners, I can't also watch Twitter. Did I just say Titter on Christmas Eve? Oh my goodness. Twitter, of course, or X. Crimp Biscuit, we will talk about Krev here pretty soon. Don't worry, just because it's Christmas Eve and we're out here having a good time and we're talking about presents and gifts and all of this stuff, we're still going to cover stocks. Don't you worry about it. Like I said, we got over an hour till the market opens. We have an incredibly light day, and our movers list is only 5 stocks deep. So we're going to have plenty of time to make sure we get through everything here today and more of the stuff that you want to take a look at. Jonathan mentioning regarding Microstrategy. Microstrategy filed with the SEC wanting to increase its shares from 330 million to 10 billion. Still digesting the reason. Yeah, it's because he basically wants to be able to use that as more collateral to buy Bitcoin. I think his entire strategy is to hoard Bitcoin. I'm not sure what that actually means for the stock. As a stockholder, I wouldn't want my shares diluted that much, even if it was able to purchase more Bitcoin. But I'm with you on that one, Jonathan. That will be something to watch here. Okay. Earwax candles, hustle and bustle. You've heard of it. Ear candling has been proven to not work. Okay, so you guys have heard of this. Okay, I don't feel nearly as bad. I will say I'm not sure we did it correctly or scientifically, but in my case, it absolutely did not work. So that's what it is. Replay Game Lab. My parents wrapped up my own old beat up Tonka truck, hyped it, and thought it would be funny. I was 6 and I cried. Oh my God. So they took an old toy, wrapped it, then hyped that you're getting this new great toy. And then when you opened it, it was an old boring toy. Oh my God. If I was, I would have cried too. At 6, for sure. Are you kidding me? For sure, I would have cried. When I was a kid, Aunt in Australia always embroidered kangaroo shirts. One kangaroo shirt is pretty sweet. I used to have a Kangol hat, but I don't know if I'd want a collection of kangaroo shirts. Anyway, glad you're here. Hopefully Bitcoin's runs higher. Yes, giddy up. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, B Crespo. How are you doing with Soundhound, baby? How are you doing with Soundhound? And good morning and Merry Christmas Eve to you, Jane. Hi, Kayla. Merry Christmas. Kevin. Hello. Good morning. Do we have the same parents? Okay. Let's keep talking about the market here, and let's go into some of the movers here when we get through it. I also want to really quickly touch on Taiwan Semiconductor. I've printed some new all-time highs here, or it's trying to. Now, actually, 206, yeah, not there in the pre-market. It's trying. Are we going to print some new all-time highs? We should see it. They're up today. I don't really think. Let's see what's going on in here. United States said it's opening an investigation into China's policies for the semiconductor industry. China's Commerce Ministry says the U.S. investigation will disrupt the chip industry and supply chains. So we're getting the government here saying, hey, we're going to look into this. Chinese are like, whoa, if you do that, you might F stuff up. And it looks like that is continuing to happen anyway. Taiwan Semiconductor down 0.5% here today. I'll be honest, I'm not sure that this is going to make a difference here today. I could be wrong. We'll see. But to me, that will. I think this is kind of going to be a non-issue. Wouldn't be shocked if TSM ends up going green here today, especially with the Nasdaq still showing some strength here in the morning. The one thing I do want to point out here on the Qs, let's take a look at that real quick since we were just talking about tech, and let's zoom inside. This right here, 524.30, I guess you could call it. The top end of this pre-market formation, watch for this to break at some point. I would imagine that at some point this falls here today. I'd love for this to actually happen right out of the regular session, just kind of set the tone for the half day that we have here. But I'd watch this upside level here on the Qs. If NASDAQ pushes higher, I would imagine TSM, even Microstrategy here. What's Bitcoin doing this morning? Bitcoin actually not as active this morning, but 94,600 on the futures here, and it actually does look like it's curling here this morning. So look for all this. I would expect if we continue to trade higher here, we'll probably put in some new highs there. So that's what's going on. Qs, TSM. I am looking forward to a good day here in tech. That should actually make for some pretty good trading action here, as it has before. And then X. Last story here is going to be about ticker X, not Twitter, not the actual platform itself. Joe Biden faces decisive call on Nippon Steel's $14.9 billion bid for U.S. Steel amid national security concerns. I'm pretty sure that this isn't going to go through. We got, just a couple of days before the administration turns over anyway. Sounds like they're trying to pardon people. To me, this kind of seems like a non-factor. I just don't. I see at the end of the day, I just don't see United States steel being sold to Nippon Steel. Call me crazy. We'll see. I have no trade on it, so I haven't put my money where my mouth is. I got something to keep in mind there. If you guys are trading this, let me know. I'd like to know. I'd like to know what you folks think about this deal here. To me, I think this is just kind of a non-issue. And then last, this surprising, I think, right, Jade? I was surprised by this. Nordstrom, ticker JWN, Nordstrom to go private in $6.25 billion deal with the founding family. So some more news there. Nordstrom price target lowered to 24 from 26. Looks like that's the buyout price, right? Nordstrom accepts $6.25 billion buyout to end 53-year run. Nordstrom can be acquired for $24.25. Okay, and that's exactly what the price is at. So there you go. There's your exact price. Nordstrom going private here after all of that. Honestly, I'm not sure why this is a public company to begin with. But I guess with the way things are going here, that makes sense. So this is going to be one less stock to trade. Here you go. Nordstrom going private, $24.25, the exact price this is at. Okay. I'm going to catch up on the chat again because you folks are amazing. Man, I almost cried. Good morning, Izzy. It's great to see you. Krev. Okay, we'll get to Krev here. Good morning, Diamond. Good to see you again. River, good morning. Boy, you guys are all talking about Krev. We might as well go ahead and do that next here, huh? Christmas rally. You're talking about the Santa Claus rally. No, maybe you're talking about actually a Christmas Eve rally. Sure looks like we're kind of set up for that here today. I got my fingers crossed for that. I know I've been kind of calling for a market move down, but today, definitely up for some trading here. There goes a fire truck with a whole bunch of red and green lights flashing, putting me in the Christmas spirit. Hopefully everybody's okay. Speaking of the Christmas spirit, when I woke up here today, futures were also red and green. So hopefully we do have a great Christmas here today. Okay, your chat room doesn't show sticker pictures. It described the photo with a $4 sticker. The chat setting took away my coolness of the sticker. Sorry about that. That would be something to take up with the producers who are here. At least one of them is here. I don't even know what the hell you just said, to be quite honest with you. So unsure how to handle that. Please comment on rum. Absolutely, we can take a look at rum. That's really been moving recently. Sound, Palantir, Oklo just added quantum. Bernardo, you've had a really awesome 2024. I've told your story a number of times. You told me way back in the day, earlier this year, you told me when SoundHound was 5 that this thing was going much higher and you had loaded the boat. And you got that, man. In fact, we might as well just take a look at that right now. You sure got that. So super happy for you. Glad this worked out. I do want to know what your exit strategy is. It is my hope that you have at least paid yourself something on the way up here, as we have 4x'd from when you told me about that. But really good stuff. And on this Christmas, you're going to start with the first one up of the day, Bernardo. Really good stuff on your trade there. Okay. All right. So that's it. Let's talk about some of the movers here. I'll probably break them down. I also have some other charts that I want to take a look at that came from the happy hour, some stocks that are in some pretty good spots. See if that changes here today. In fact, let me just roll through those real quick. Maybe 13 will show up and we can go over the movers together. I have a list here: AVGR, CREV, BAOS, ATNF, TOVX. Those are your movers here today. Let's just check Krev first, and then I'll go through some of those other stocks here. You guys were mentioning it a lot, so we might as well just take a look here and get everyone prepared. Krev looks like it is moving again here right to yesterday's high, and it stopped there. Not a coincidence. Volume looking really good here. Let's take a look at the news here on Krev. Carbon Revolutions. Okay. Carbon Revolution shares are trading higher after the company announced it had reached an agreement with OIC for a further $25 million in financing to support the ongoing liquidity of the business. Okay, that's really good news, right? $25 million in funding. This should really kind of shore up its cash position. It does have some cash prior to, actually, you know what? This might be with that. It does have some cash. I don't get a read on its cash flow statement. Let's see if we've got it for annual. Yeah, not really. This is still really good for the company. Stock, not surprised the stock to be up 215%. Looks like it's trying to pop yesterday's after hours high here. If we take a look at a longer time frame chart, this is a pretty beaten down. Yeah, this had a real rough chart here. Now, the interesting thing about today here is that we've really kind of popped above all of these moving averages. This might be one of those that is set up to have one of those crazy moves here today. I don't know if it's going to hold 200%. We definitely need to be careful trading something that's already up 200%. But this one could be the really big move. We had a really good luck with TRAW yesterday, DRCT. How did that end up finishing up? I saw the shorts getting smoked in the after hours yesterday on DRCT. Okay, we held into the pre-market today. So, wow, DRCT, this is also going to be on watch today from relative volume yesterday. Okay, and it actually looks like that 750 represents a high spot here. Okay, producer is running a poll until the market opens. Will we finish the half day red or green? Be sure to vote in that, producer. I think that is a great poll. Let me go on another tab. Let me go ahead and log in to YouTube so that I can actually vote in that poll and put my money where my mouth is. Let's go ahead and do that here. Whoop. There we go. And voted. Okay, I voted for green, and it looks like that's what a majority of you folks voted for as well. So we'll see how we end up finishing off there. Awesome. Okay. Let's see, what else did I miss here today? 79% bullish. Let me add some shorts. There you go. I evened out your vote there, Replay Gaming Lab. Okay. So that's a couple of the movers there. Let me go through a couple of the charts that I wanted to take a look at, just some things that I think are interesting here that the happy hour group discussed yesterday. First one here is going to be Starbucks. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Starbucks here right around that 200-day. We actually lost it. So we'll see if we're able to recapture this 88.18. Now, we do have a plan for both directions here on Starbucks. First of all, if we cannot recapture this, if we cannot show some type of strength or some type of support here on Starbucks, look out below. We are through all of the moving averages. We're beneath all of them here. And we have a gap that doesn't fill till about $77 to the downside. You want to do the wick? Okay, that's $78.50 to the downside. We are in this gap. So we are going to be at a point here. This has either got to recapture this and go back up, or we got to probably fill this gap here. So potential short trade on Starbucks if we're unable to get above that 200-day. This is definitely going to be one of the stocks I'm watching here today, as well as the rest of this week. I would take this in small size. By the way, this wouldn't be a monster trade right here at the end of the year, but we're at a decision point. We're either going to go up or down from here. I really don't think we're going to hang around this level for too long. If we do consolidate here, we can wait that out. But again, downside targets, gap fill down here, $78. Let's call it that. Upside target would be if we recapture this 200-day. I have the first target here at about 95, and then we have some of these other moving average lines, right? Got one here, 97.29. So there we go on Starbucks. I think this chart is interesting. Okay. And producer... Sorry, trying to do a lot at once here. Producer, Okay, here we go. Can I share this? Yes, I definitely can. Here we go. We're going to share some Christmas sweaters. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Danielle, share this tab. Danielle, my husband Kyle's Christmas sweater he wore to work at the naval base for a 16-hour shift. Just gift it. Santa Claus the badass. Tell you what, I'm going to rate Kyle's shirt here on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give your husband a very solid 9. Really good Santa Claus representation, not totally traditional. Santa Claus kind of looks like a badass. He's working on a military base. That's not your average Santa with the huge gut. Dude looks ripped. Looks like he's ready to pump some iron here. 9 of 10 on your husband's sweater here. Not even terribly ugly, right? Like this is a sweet sweater. He looks happy. 16-hour shift on a naval base. We appreciate your service, Kyle and Danielle. Awesome shirt. Awesome shirt. Be sure to give him my props. That one is pretty sweet. So, okay, folks. First of all, producer, I love your idea of being able to thread some of those pictures on X instead of having everyone mail me pictures. I mean, I love getting emails from you folks. But I'll tell you what, this is way easier for you to post those on Twitter. So Danielle, thank you for participating. Much appreciated. Awesome sweater. Awesome sweater. Anyone else that wants to participate, go ahead and tweet that. Producer, if you want to drop the link to that tweet in the chat, that might help. But there you go. Really, really good stuff. Okay. Mo's asking what brokerage we use for pre-market and such. Anyone hint? I don't know what you mean there. I personally use TD Ameritrade, although I will say I don't do a whole lot of pre-market trading. It's kind of a rarity for me. So does the job, really good with options. I'm used to it. That's my broker. I know a lot of people here use Webull. Interactive Brokers are some other popular ones. So I'm sure it depends on what you're looking for. I don't do a whole lot of pre-market trading. Okay. Let's see. What did I miss here? Do we think NVIDIA can hold 140? So I had my own charts here, but you know what, Hustle and Bustle? That is a direct question. Let's give you a direct answer. First of all, we are barely holding on to 140 as it stands right now. We're actually up about 0.6% here in the pre-market today at 140.50. You can see exactly where we're at. We're pretty much right. We're above this 50-day, and we're right beneath this previous breakout level that you see here on NVIDIA. Now, the one thing that you will notice is that I have the makings of a head and shoulders set up here on NVIDIA. So we're currently trying to invalidate that pattern. To me, a break and close above this 141 level would be a real good start to that. It doesn't totally get us up to that level. I've got that here at about, 146, 145-ish. We'll see if we get up there. But I would say, given what we're seeing here in tech Qs right now, we just took a look at the top end of that range in the pre-market. It was trying to break it. It actually did break it. It didn't hold above it, but it did break it. So I would say as long as the strength shows up here, I think we do hold 140 today, honestly. Yeah, I do. I think we probably do hold that. I think that for the good vibes to be kind of wrecked, we would need something to happen. And that could happen. I'm not sure if it's going to. So yeah, I would say to your initial question there, do we think NVIDIA can hold 140? I'll go ahead and say yes. I've really been calling for NVIDIA to come in, but in this case, today for the half session, yes, I think we do hold 140. We'll see if that proves to be correct. Okay, let me keep rolling through some of my charts here. We just talked about Starbucks. There's either going to be a long or a short trade there on Starbucks. Next here is going to be ticker CHD, Church and Dwight. This is another one. Big shout out to our happy hour group, who's always able to bring stocks that we don't always pay attention to. I've never traded Church and Dwight. But this actually is a pretty good setup. Church and Dwight, leading global producer of baking soda. So if you've ever wanted to get involved in the baking soda game, here you go. Beyond baking soda, the products in its portfolio include laundry products, cat litter, oral care, deodorant, nasal care, all sold under the Arm & Hammer brand, right? So that's basically what Church and Dwight is. You can see here, these are products that everybody uses, and no matter what. Look where we're at. We are riding the 200-day. We're riding the 200-day. We do have these wicks to the upside. So kind of interesting there. I do see some support down here at 102 with a gap that fills at 100. So I would say right in here for a potential trade, my stop would probably be what, 102 to the downside, and I'd be looking for maybe a test of this 113 to the upside. So we're right here, right at that 200-day. We're still beneath the 50. This could be your long side trigger if you wanted, meaning if we closed above that 106.22 level, you might be game on there. And then we can probably make a move towards these highs here from, what was that, November 22nd. Ticker CHD. Those would be all-time highs too. So this right here at the 200-day, no position for me, but watching it, want to see what we end up doing here, or which direction we end up moving. Okay, you guys are given a couple of more. You guys are just AVGR. You guys are talking about the movers. You really cannot wait to get to the movers. I don't even know why I'm going over big stocks. We occasionally get feedback there about big stocks, but I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure why we want it, or why we're covering that with you guys just wanting the smaller ones. All right, we have a new shirt. Let's go ahead and break it down. This is awesome. This might be one of the more fun things that we've done here. This entry comes from Paul. Paul, love that you show up here every day. Love the support, and I gotta say, I do love the sweater here. Ask your mom if I'm real. We got Santa Claus out here winking. Paul, you got a beer in hand. I would say that just the overall holiday energy in this photo is just Spinal Tap style. It's turned to 11. Looks like you're in the basement. That looks like a beer pong table right over your right shoulder. You got a beer in the right hand. You're showing off the sweater. Sweater looks good, man. I'm also gonna, and you got the matching hat, and you got the matching hat here. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say that you're gonna be. I'm gonna put you at an 8.7 here. 8.7. Now I don't want you to take away from what we just talked about from the last one. Last one here had some military service attached to it. I am biased in that case, so sorry about that. This sweater, though, this is awesome. I'll tell you what, if I had this sweater, I might wear this. I'd have to be very careful about the crowd that I was around, but this one's good. Love the beer in hand. Love that you're partying. Love it, Paul. Love it, Paul. Really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff there. I tell you what, I love that we're doing holiday sweater contests here. I'll be honest. I had mine here. Actually, I don't even know how to. Here we go. Maximize. There we go. So I have my sweater here, and it's pretty generic, right? It's a pretty generic sweater. It's just from Costco. It goes with a lot of stuff. But honestly, if I had to rate my own after seeing your holiday sweaters, I put myself at like a 5.5. Like middle ground here. I'm not mailing it in. I'm not participating like some sort of stiff. But when it compared to your folks' sweaters here, I gotta pull my game up. I gotta be honest. Two of you folks already have really kind of popped off here. So absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. I will try and step my game up. Okay. Okay. Looks like you guys like that too. Sweet. All right. So getting back to the stocks here, CHD also holding its 200-day. We'll see if it is able, if it is able to trade up from here. Okay. Next stock, 3D, asking FRSX. Did I get those tickers right? Because it almost sounds like I misspoke there. So this is a smaller name, but Foresight Autonomous, really good catch here, 3D. This has recently been a huge mover here. Now, I think we did mention this one, right? We talked about this when this was a penny stock. We had mentioned this was a penny stock that was going here. Love the action here, right? So huge push, expanding volume, exactly what we wanted to see. Here's the one thing that I'd say. We went right to this 500-day. We kind of stopped there. We're gapping higher here today on light volume. Here's the one thing that I would watch for. If we go back to this daily chart, do you see how yesterday on this big move, we actually had this volume stick that was about half the size of the previous? I want to see what happens here today. What's the volume look like today? Because if we continue to decline here, I could see this stock coming back in. Now that we've popped above some of these moving averages, let's try and hold it. Notice that when we moved above the 200-day, it actually looks like we tried to back test this. And when we were successful, we went much, much higher. Well, it's reasonable to assume that the same thing here is possible, but let's watch how this stock interacts with that 500-day. If we give this stock, or excuse me, if we give up this level here today, I think that this could probably come all the way back in. If we hold 168, I think we're probably setting up for a move right in here. I've got this at what, I want to say almost 250. Let's do that. That's an easy, fairly round number here. I would say if we're able to hold 168 here, next spot is likely going to be 250. Sorry, just making sure that's not destroying my house. Okay. So good stuff. Smaller one here. Did we have news on this 3D? What was going on here? No, we didn't. This was recently. Foresight. iNet and SoftBank joined forces with Japanese automaker to advance the cellular technology. So this has had some pretty good news flow here recently. This goes with the autonomous driving electric car theme. Not a bad spot here. Let's watch and see if this holds the 500-day. 169 going to be your key level there. It looks like we did also fill this gap that goes back to December of last year. So that's pretty sweet. Okay, looking pretty good here on this one. FRSX. Let's add this to the list of movers that we can watch here today. This wasn't on my list, but you just added another one. Cha-ching. Cha-ching there. Really good stuff. Okay. Let's see. You guys are still talking about my sister would love your quarter zip sweater. Look here, Jane, the one thing I will say is that Peyton Manning did get a couple of things right. Very, very good quarterback. Sucks that he beat the Bears in the Super Bowl. I'll probably never forgive him for that, but it is what it is. But he's absolutely right on quarter zips. Quarter zips are awesome. They go with stuff. They allow for really great designs. I'm a huge fan of quarter zips. So anyone else that likes quarter zips, I'm a fan of them too. So good stuff, Jane. Good taste for your sister right there. No doubt about it. Okay, a couple of other stocks that I wanted to mention. We talked a little bit about some of these casino stocks, especially some of the Macau casino stocks. We talked about some of the different holidays and closures in Asia and China and all of that. When is my play for that? Okay. Whenever we're going to play Chinese gaming, gambling, Macau, all of that, when is my play for that? When also at a pretty sweet level here. It seems to be holding this 100-day. And if it continues to hold this 100-day and we get good news about gambling or we get good numbers out of Macau, it's currently at $88.25. I think this thing could very easily take out that 200-day right there at $91. It says 91.04. Let's call it 91 here. Wouldn't be shocked if we reclaim that. And if we do reclaim that, I think this probably trades 6 to 10 points higher. So I'm giving a price target here, $97 to $100, if we're able to take that. If we're able to take that out. So let's see if Win holds here. I've traded this one a bunch. The options on this are great. They're liquid. They're easy to trade. They really appreciate. This could be a real good one. So we'll see if we get a setup here. The one thing, though, this really does need to hold this 100-day. If it breaks this 100-day, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing printed 80s, honestly. So we'll see here on Win. RSI is kind of in no man's land. Volume is just kind of average right now, but we do have some Macau or Asian holidays coming up where gambling is front and center, and we'll see if we get any good numbers out of that. So keep your eyes on Win, WYNN. Some more news from yesterday on another tech stack here. This is Qualcomm. All right, Qualcomm. Good morning, Brian. Merry Christmas. It's good to see you here. Qualcomm. So we actually did have some news yesterday regarding that lawsuit, right? Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if I can. Here we go. U.S. jury finds Qualcomm did not breach Nuvia's license agreement with ARM. That's ticker ARM. U.S. jury finds Qualcomm custom CPUs are licensed under its deal with ARM. So remember, they had this lawsuit going on with their chips. Sounds like the jury really kind of finished that, found it in favor of Qualcomm here. They did not breach the licensing agreement. This is only positive. Qualcomm traded up 3.5% yesterday. It's up again here, 0.25% today. Looking pretty good here on Qualcomm. Now, if we go back to the daily chart here, well, we have to reset it because that looks like spaghetti mess. It does look like it really kind of turned around. And if this marks the bottom here, to me, I think you can make a case here to really kind of trade back up towards the 200-day. 200-day here is at 176.28. So Qualcomm here, big piece of news out of the way, should be good. Let's see how it trades with the NASDAQ going positive here, giddy up, all of this stuff moving together. All right, folks. It is 8:45. We're gonna up the level of Christmas cheer and stock trading ability by bringing on my good friend 13. Let's go ahead and do that. 13, good morning. Okay, 13. We got to check out the PJs and the Santa hat. Here you go, folks.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I love it. First of all, I'm a big sucker for that red and black flannel. Okay. I'm a big sucker for that in all regards. I love that you have a shirt that says Merry Christmas where the sleeves are only flannel. Love the hat. Love the Christmas spirit. You did it. You actually did better than I did here today. I got news there for you, though, 13. I got news for you. We have a couple of sweaters that were already shared by our group here today.
That's awesome.
You need to see them. So we're going to do it right now. First one here. Oops.
Perfect, because I have something to add for your Qualcomm after we're done.
Oh, excellent. Okay, well, we're loosely covering stocks here today. We're all about having fun. I haven't broken to the eggnog yet. I'm still working on tea, but we'll get there pretty soon. This was our first entry. This was from Danny in our chat. Her husband, Kyle, wore this Xmas sweater to a 16-hour shift on a naval base. We got all kinds of impressive stuff going on here. So my review on this, I gave this a flat 9.0 for the Christmas sweater for a couple of reasons. Number one, he gets the immediate boost. He serves our nation, and we thank him for that. 16-hour shift. Damn, dude, that is some dedication here. But more specifically, look how awesome the sweater is. First of all, Santa isn't out here lopping up milk and cookies. This Santa is cut. He's got the gun show going. He looks like he's got a weight in one of his hand, either aftershave or an adult beverage in the other. I can't tell. Doesn't matter. This is really, really awesome. So this was the first entry that we got.
Yeah, that Santa definitely gets gains. I know that guy that's wearing it too. It does too. That's a lot to look at in that picture. I like that sweater.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Our community did not let down. So I was looking at this and I was like, man, this is a really good one. I wonder if we're going to get any other good ones here today. And guess what? Paul delivered. Paul absolutely. I can't wait to look at this. Paul's out here. Okay, so a couple of things to break down about this picture. Not only is the sweater awesome, ask your mom if I'm real, and Santa winking, just absolutely trolling you. Paul's got a beer in his right hand, a beer pong table behind him. You got Christmas lights over the beer pong table. We got all different kinds of good energy in this picture. So these two, I'll be honest, my big takeaway from the first two sweaters that were shared here today is that I need to up my game. Because I came here thinking, oh, yeah, I got this nice little generic sweater. Everyone else turning those things to 11. So, Paul, Danny, and your husband, Kyle, awesome stuff on the sweaters here today. So, 13, you did a better job than I did. That's for sure. But what I will say here is we clearly, our chat is bringing it. And
that was great.
We might need to up our game. So, really good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a better sweater. I mean, this was what I woke up in last year, and I thought, hey,
I'll tell you what, it looks like comfy PJs to me. And between your red attire and my green attire, we got Christmas on lockdown between the two of us. So we'll go with that. What did you have here on Qualcomm?
We were talking about the lawsuit that kind of seemed like it was ruling in Qualcomm's favor. So what that federal jury found was Qualcomm was not in violation of any agreements or contracts that they had with ARM, but Nuvia, the company that was I believe sold off from ARM and Qualcomm acquired, that company the federal jury is not so sure about if they've violated an agreement or not. So that company could be under pressure, which would still cause some problems for Qualcomm. But the lawsuit isn't completely out of the woods yet, but at least it's been confirmed by a federal jury that Qualcomm was not in violation of any of the agreements or contracts or IP that infringement. So it really comes down to what's going on with Nuvia. There's going to be an appeal. This is going to be an ongoing thing. It's not over yet, but you just have that asterisk that Qualcomm did nothing wrong.
And of course, Nuvia not a public stock, so
no,
right?
No, it's now part of Qualcomm.
Okay, sweet.
Or it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be. We'll see what. Okay, but really good breakdown there. One thing I was saying is that it does look like with this move here and with this news, maybe a bottom's put in. If that's the case, maybe a move through the 50-day to the 200-day is palatable. We'll see if we get it. Okay, so the group here has been chomping at the bit to get to the movers, and I've done everything I can to hold them off so far. I did
release the hounds.
I did. I was like, do I blow it here? Do I cover all of these before 13 gets here and then have them rehash stuff, or do I try and drag this out? I opted to try and drag this out, and I was helped by some of the amazing sweaters and conversations that we've had here this morning. But I did crack a little bit, so I'm going to start. I'm just going to very briefly cover the one that I already talked about, and then I'm going to turn it over to you and we can run down the list. Sure. The first one here that we were talking about was CREV, Carbon Revolution. So again, this made the initial news happened in the after hours yesterday. It popped on that news. It did come back in here today, but the volume really showed up here in the pre-market, took us right back to those highs from yesterday. Carbon Revolution shares are trading higher after the company announced it reached an agreement with OIC for a further $25 million in financing to support the ongoing liquidity of the business. Now, the first key takeaway here is that this should be good for its cash position, so maybe it doesn't need to raise. But 13, was this on your list of stocks that you covered here today?
Yeah, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to cover a lot, so we're going to be covering some of these in real time. But one of the things that, so CREV, a company that makes, it's an Australian company that makes carbon fiber tires or wheels. They just got some, 25, or I'm sorry, they got $5 million in financing with an option to, get another $25 million, I believe is what I was reading yesterday. Seems like it reads a little bit different here. Yeah, no, they have an option to further get $25 million. So that's great because they need money. They look like they could use an increase in their cash position. But this is also a recompliance play. So I would imagine. I don't know that they're going to do a reverse split. I think they may have already done that. Let's take a look at the calendar here and see. Nope, don't see any splits. And I don't think this financing, dilutes their shares either. So this is just a matter of regaining compliance, and it might just have been an issue of, having a certain cash position or having a certain amount of, capital, because they didn't. I don't think they were underneath $1. Not quite. So I don't know what the compliance parameters were for this particular company, but they need to regain it, and raising capital is going to be one of those ways that they do it. Okay. So it doesn't seem like they need to do any kind of reverse split at this stage.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem like they need a reverse split. It doesn't seem like they need cash. We got 1.81 million shares in the float. We got a pretty good piece of news. We might have a thin market here today. So we got a lot of stuff kind of lined up for this being a trade. I love that it's coming back in towards the VWAP here. For me, the way I'm going to play these, again, I'm going to try and be careful here today. I'm in an excellent mood, but I don't need to have the Grinch show up and sour my mood by doing something stupid here in the market. So I'm going to try and be as tactical as possible. Yeah, go ahead.
With this particular company, now that I've read a little bit further, it seems like they have until January 21st to get their compliance plan in order. So seems like between now and the 21st of January, you're going to have another catalyst for this company that could cause it to move. That's going to be the recompliance. And I don't know exactly when that event's going to happen, but it's going to happen within a month.
Okay. Awesome. CREV definitely on the list here for today. Okay, next one here is going to be JTAI. JetAI. This one. That's exactly. We've traded this one here before. Let me see if there was any news on this one. This was not initially on my list, but we do have some fresh news here. As of 24 minutes ago, JetAI launches Ava, an agentic AI model for private jet booking. Okay, so an AI model named Ava for booking private jets. Real-time availability, transparent pricing, and seamless trip management updates Charter GPT app with carbon tracking, push notifications, and deep linking. Okay, I mean, I guess this sounds good here. Unsure why this is driving the stock 150%.
Yeah, my initial thought is, okay, so that to me means that there's not going to be very many people using this app.
Yeah. I mean, you guys tell me. To hear the PR, customers can now conveniently book private jets by calling or texting this number. So you let me know, folks. How many of you are booking private jets? Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know how it is.
And how inconvenient is it for you right now? Is it that
awesome.
inconvenient for you that you need an app, or is your caretaker handling it for you?
And also 13, this looks like this was resolved before you even got up today. I don't even know if you saw this. Did you see that American Airlines issued a ground stop and halted all flights earlier this morning?
No, I didn't. What's going on
Okay.
with that?
Yeah, well, it's resolved. It was a quote technical error, and of course, rumors started to spin up on X about this being a CrowdStrike related
I
error.
was going to say, did we go to CrowdStrike?
The ground stop has been lifted. American Airlines has the price of the stock has come back after initially falling about 3.5%. CrowdStrike is back to normal as well, so I think crisis averted here. But that did happen earlier today. So maybe private jets are the way to go. Ryan always complains about the office, or in the office, about how awkward it is to order his private jets. Look, I just like a seamless process, right? Like if I'm going to expense all of my private jets to the company, I want the process to be seamless. I don't want to have to wait and deal with all of that. LOL, producer, you got a great sense of humor in there. So anyway, this is what's going on here with Jet AI. Stocks up 150%. What do you think?
Well, let's take a look here at my broker and see if I can identify any levels, because we already know what this company is. And here we have another headline that we're kind of scratching our heads on that it's running on. So let's see what I got.
3D says my personal butler handles my agenda. That's how it goes, right? You have a personal butler. That's where the name Jeeves comes from, right? Good old Seinfeld reference there. If you name something Jeeves, you've pretty much mapped out his career. Well, my little bird looked like a butler with her coat. Okay, anyway, 13, back to brass tacks.
Nigel, bring my car around. I wish to take it to the airport for a private jet booking.
Yeah, we're popping off today.
Yeah. So as far as this stock goes, I mean, there was a good comment that was brought up that it did a reverse split. Remember that. I don't exactly remember the day here, so let me pull that up. That was on what is this, November? They've kind of changed things around here in pros. Let me get my bearings here. What was that? November 12th, it looks like. One for 225 reverse split. Okay. So that is definitely making it a lot easier to trade. That's resulted in a 1.25 million share float. The short interest, I'm seeing I have 10% of the float shorted. I think there was a little bit of a different figure there. Either way, it's above 10%. So this could also be a little bit of a squeeze. Now, if we continue to push up here, I don't have a whole lot of levels down here for JTAI, but let me just see if I can find some real quick here. It looks like the earliest one might be about 1060. And then after that we could go as high as 1615 if we want to get crazy. So I would start with, let's just see if it can get to 1060. We're not too far away, about $2. And this thing is, already, gone from what, 350 to almost 3 times that now.
Yeah, I mean, this was 342 when it closed yesterday. We actually printed higher than this right now. So yeah, we're down off those highs. 10, I think, was your high print. Okay. Also worth noting here, you did have the high print from November 13th at 1036. So that might also be a level that we need to take out. That's what stopped the stock the last time that we were up here. Yeah, we did actually print above 10 earlier here in the pre-market. So, okay, good stuff here with JTAI. To me, just kind of looking at this is fairly simple. $8 and $10, your two key levels here. Also, that VWAP looks like we just rolled over a little bit there on light volume. So far, we've held 8. We'll see if this never mind. All I had to do was say we held 8 and we broke into a 7 handle. So let's see if the VWAP supports it here. 773.
There it is, VWAP. We're right there, and we're kind of seeing the bulls and bears fight for it. It looks like the bulls are losing.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll come back to that another time once this resolves. But that's what it's going to have to do is hold above VWAP going into the open, or else this is probably going to leak into the open.
Jay Walker, Alfred. That's like Alfred is like if you're a vigilante, Alfred is your butler. That's like the guy from Batman's butler. Totally get it. Also, one of the greatest Mac OS X apps out there. Alfred, shout out. Okay, Jet AI broke down the really good stuff here. AVGR. This was another one that our group was talking about recently. This since has lost the VWAP here. This had a huge move higher here up to 250. We've retraced $1 of that move here, and in the process, we've broken the VWAP. Volume has really kind of lightened up a little bit here. I didn't have any news on this. It was 234% gains last week. The company announced it received a notice of allowance for a U.S. patent titled catheter device with detachable distal end.
Well, I'm not needing a catheter yet, so I don't know, what that means. Sounds like it's supposed to be less abrasive when using it, but
that's not even what we needed all here on Christmas Eve morning.
That's just what my first thought. So anyway, moving on from that description, we've talked about how medical devices are expected to perform better than like the drugs and treatments out of the biotech segments. Being that we have RFK coming in as Health and Human Services Secretary, so I would expect that medical devices have a better of a chance under his tenure than drug companies. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. So I could see medical devices doing better. Now, as far as what's driving this today, I don't see anything particular except aside from last week's news. It does have a 2.9 million share float. So maybe it's just somebody came across and said, hey, this had news recently and it's easy to push around. And they started pushing it around. Looking at their financials, seems like they lose about $4 million a quarter. And they have about $6 million in cash. This company might need to do a capital raise soon.
Okay, that's something to keep an eye on here. This actually rolled back over. I do see another possible support level down here at 132 if we end up breaking the low here, AVGR.
And no recent reverse splits. Last one they did was last year in September of 2023.
Okay. Good stuff there. Matt saying, how about Cadbury for a butler name? Look, Cadbury for me is all about the eggs. Like the Cadbury cream egg is one of the greatest things of all time. And so whenever I hear Cadbury, that's what I think of here. But okay, good stuff. Next here on the list, BAOS. This was another one. And stop me if you've heard this before. Plus 212% earlier today with no news. This is a Chinese company, vlog streaming marketing service provider. Bosheng Group is also a core agency of the domestic internet companies such as Tencent, Alibaba, and ByteDance. Ticker BAOS. We printed above 6 earlier here today. Back down here, 313. No news earlier. Still no news now. What do you make of this China pump?
I think that's just what it is.
Exactly. I was trying to set you up for an easy one there. There is a little bit of short interest here, but really not.
Yeah. The 1.03 million shares in the float. Going to be easy to move this one around. Financials, I mean, if they're real, you have almost 4 million in cash and short-term investments. So you have that liquidity there. No read on their income. Let's see here. Did they do any reverse splits this year? No. Last one they did was March 22nd of 2023. That was a 1 for 6. They have the first half of earnings, the first half, at the end of the year, coming on January 7th. So if this is something that you intend to, pay attention to for that long, there's a catalyst for you. But other than that, I have no idea why this is moving. Let's take a look and see if there's any levels we can draw on, since this is going to be just technicals we're going to be looking at here today with this one. Beneath the VWAP so far, it looks like there was a head and shoulders pattern that formed in the after hours yesterday. So we are still looking like we're resolving from that. Now, if we end up going back down to where this whole thing started at, beneath $2, maybe it gets a rise out of the open and then calls it quits for the day.
Okay. Real good stuff there. BAOS. I think this one is going to be risky, so be careful with this one.
Yeah, JTAI, that one still seems like it has life in it. It's trying to turn around. Let's see if it can recapture that and hold that VWAP.
Okay. Here you go. We are right there at VWAP. Good stuff there. Okay. Tony saying Cadbury cream egg is a very polarizing question. It is. I mean, it's delicious. It's one of the best candies of all time. I don't know if that's polarizing. You folks you guys are up on your Butler names. Seriously, Cadbury was Richie Rich's Butler. I don't even think I realized that, but Matt, this is a great call. Eris here mentioning Percival, the Butler. Parsival?
Parsival, yeah.
What's that from? The only thing I knew I was like Troy Percival, the old Anaheim Angels closer that won me a fantasy baseball league. Can't be.
It wasn't spelled the same way, but Parsival was the protagonist gamer name in Ready Player One. I don't know that. I don't know if Parsival was taken from somewhere else. I look at JTAI go. I don't know if Parsival was taken from somewhere else, but that's the first thing that came to my mind when I heard that.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, you guys, I'll tell you what, you guys really outdid yourselves with the Butler names here, and I'm learning something every day, and that's fun. JTAI did start to go here. Excuse me about. All right. Next here, CMND, Clear Mind Medicine. This is one that we've absolutely taken a look at here before. Clear Mind Medicine secures IRB approval for alcohol disorder trial at Yale. The Clear Mind, this does like psilocybin, like mushrooms and stuff, right? Yeah, psychedelic pharmaceutical biotech company. So this is interesting. This I actually think is some interesting news. Now, I don't know what this necessarily means for the stock. I don't know if this is going to drive the stock, but I've actually been following some of this outside of the market. Some of the attempts to use psychedelics for treatment of different mental issues. We had someone in here mentioning ibogaine treatment the other day. I didn't really comment on it because there was no connection to the market, but I'm hearing a lot more about that, especially former service members that have issues. I know Sean Ryan's talked about how ibogaine saved his life overnight, had to go down to Mexico to get treatment because it's illegal here. So I'm happy to see news like this. I'm happy to see natural psychoactives being explored for medical benefit.
Well, I was also seeing this is not a natural substance, but ketamine being used to treat depression. I've been hearing that it's got a lot of benefits there too. So, and that's the not necessarily think it's a horse tranquilizer, but I believe it's for smaller animals that it's used for. But if it can help treat depression, it's a big deal. Lots of Americans have to live with that.
Indeed. Okay.
And as far as CMND goes, it looks like where are we at? Just under 2 now. We broke out and ran up to almost 3. I have some levels here previously from one of the last times we traded this. 3 was a particular level that I had marked off here. We got to 295.
That was almost another level this morning, 13. Yeah.
And I also have 230 to 235 also marked off here. So we lost that support, and we're still leaking down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute right now. I think we just need to kind of wait and see what this one does as we get closer to the open, because it still is going to need to recapture VWAP if we're going to get more upside in the regular session.
Okay. There you go. Good stuff here. CMND. Okay, ATNF. Looks like this popped earlier. We had no news on this. This is a biotech company. This was up over 100% earlier. It's really kind of come back in. 250 looks to be one of the key levels here. I think we also need to regain 310 to really get some juice. VWAP seems almost out of reach down here at 381. That's a full point plus from where we're at. So we'll see here on ATNF. No news on this one. I know you hop in on any of these. You don't have to. I don't know if there's anything really to cover here.
Well, other than the name 180 Life Sciences and the stock kind of doing the same thing in the pre-market, doing a 180 and all, but it looks like this was trying to get up to the 50-day SMA. And it hasn't been able to break out of it yet. Let me see if I have some levels here on my broker. So we're definitely well beneath VWAP, but it looks like we're trying to curl, getting some support from the 65 EMA at the moment. If we can recapture 3 going into the open, there's a good chance we might be able to push up and through the VWAP. Now, keep in mind that we're looking at this price action from this morning. Once we lost VWAP, we have not been able to successfully recapture that, and that was most evident around 8 o'clock in the 15 minutes that followed that. Trying to recapture it multiple times, failing. That doesn't look like you have that same price action that I see on mine, but from 8:05.
What's your VWAP level at?
That's currently at 376.
Okay, so we're pretty close there on the
Yeah.
VWAP then.
I was just as far as the price action around 8:05 to 8:15. I'm not really necessarily seeing that on your chart.
That's
there.
right in here.
Oh,
because I'm on Central Time. My charts are sent to Central Time here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm just seeing how there's this.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry, man.
No worries. Anyway, I don't think we can see it from that pro chart, but from my broker's chart, I'm not sure why I'm getting it.
Why is that the case?
It looks like it's been trying to recapture VWAP and has not been successful, but it is curling. So curious to see what it does going into the open here.
Okay, I'll say on my broker's chart looks the same as this chart. So okay. Anyway, good stuff there. Next on the list here, PWM. This is Prestige Wealth. We talked about this one recently. This thing was a complete joke. I would say stay away from this one. The one thing that's different here today is that the volume in the pre-market looks way more robust than the last time that this thing popped. Now, it did pop in the after hours, not in the pre-market, so maybe this gets involved here. We've traded this one before, but I'm kind of skeptical of this one.
All morning, this stock has been trying to recapture VWAP, and it has not been able to do that all morning.
Yeah, I have it trading above the VWAP here, but very quickly losing it. Yeah. I wouldn't call that a hold of the I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a 1 minute time frame. And you look at a 5 minute, you can see that this thing just gets literally slapped down every time it gets above that VWAP. So that's going to be once it gets above and holds, that could be the signal that this thing is going higher. If it cannot do that, then there's better things to trade today.
Absolutely. Okay, next here is going to be LAES. This is Seals Q. We talked about this one yesterday. This one actually gave us several good trades yesterday. It looks like this might be on deck again here today. We popped in the after hours. We popped again here in the pre-market. The only news we had was from yesterday's. There was nothing fresh here today. Up another 30% here. Watch this for a move for 7. We need to retake that VWAP there at 643. We'll see if we send it to 7 here.
If it does recapture 7, I have a level, an EMA, weekly 200 that's got 775 as a potential upside target here. So there's one for that. So then I have another EMA on the monthly chart that's right in the same area, the 65. So the 200 weekly EMA and the 65 monthly EMA both have moving averages right in that 775 area. So we start to get above 7. I think we're running to there, maybe even higher. We do have some levels further up as well.
Okay. Good stuff there. Now, next one here is going to be DRCT. This is the one that absolutely nuked shorts yesterday. We had, I think, 49 total halts was the final number yesterday on DRCT, as this thing just went from a penny stock to what? $5 in the regular session. Yeah, over $5 in the regular session. This thing almost doubled in the after hours session, and so far here holding at about 680. Look, this one, given the halts yesterday, I mean, we'll see if I end up trading this one here today. Given how many halts there were yesterday, and given just how far it's coming, was up 900% yesterday. It's just so crazy. Given all that, I might stay away from this name here today unless the setup is just too good. But this definitely going to be in play today on, if nothing else, relative volume from yesterday.
Yeah, I think this is something you're going to want to definitely keep on your radar. This could get stupid. Like it could be another NUKK. It could get to that level of dumb. It's just that once we've gotten past, these volatility halts, trying to go from like a penny stock into, multiple dollar territory, I don't expect we'll see maybe as many halts or so many quick halts, like moving up from like, 10 cents to 20 cents. this is going to start moving more. If we are going to get these volatility halts, it's going to be for much larger ranges of price action. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, we're going to get up to $10 and it'll volatility halt. Then we're going to go to 12, 15, 20. We're not going to, make these halts just to get a few cents every time. So that could definitely happen with this stock. And I'm going to have this on my radar for sure. Now, the price action that we've been getting, we got up to 846 in the after hours yesterday. We tried to break over that this morning unsuccessfully. And we haven't necessarily broken down either. We're trying to recapture VWAP in the pre-market here. And if we do, I'd still be looking at that 846 level as a breakout spot. Otherwise, it will be a triple top and we'll go much further south.
Okay. Good stuff there. DRCT. Tell you what, 13, maybe this will get stupid here today. We'll see. Call the ball on this one. I don't want to make any big big claims here. If the setup's there, we'll see.
That's why I'm watching it.
We'll go from there.
And I gave two reasons on how it could have crazy upside and how it could have crazy downside. We do need to take out that 846. Otherwise, it will be a triple top between the 2 days and the after hours or the extended hours. So just a couple of things to watch for. We break through that, man, this thing could go wild.
Okay.
Go wild.
Jonathan was mentioning Hour. This is a new mover. This recently started happening here. I didn't see any news on this. This is Hour Loop, ticker HOUR. Last news I had here was earnings news from mid-November. I don't see anything fresh here, so it looks like this is just kind of some trading action. The volume does look good here on Hour, but I don't see really any catalyst moving this here. Popped out of a huge range, so we'll see if we find anything here on HOUR. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just kind of looking at the newsfeed and I was like, oh, they had earnings back in November.
Yep.
They have 1.7 million share float. Short interest isn't really anything to write home about. Not even sure what this company does. Technology-enabled consumer products company that uses machine learning and data analytics to design, develop, market, and sell products. So they're using AI to sell to us. That's what I'm getting.
I mean, that's okay. We'll see if this one, how this does here. It looks like $3 stopped it. See if we end up getting through there. One more that I wanted to cover, then we can take any tickers that you folks want to take a look at here. Looks like someone's asking about AMD. First time we've been asked about AMD in a little bit. We'll take a look at all that stuff here. TOVX. This is another one here. This is plus 30. This was plus 33% earlier. The news was from yesterday after hours. You can see exactly what happened. This thing popped as high as 3. We've almost retraced half of the price there. Yikes. Theriva Biologic shares are trading higher after the company announced it had received a notice of allowance for U.S. patent application number, whatever that number is, titled Microbiome Protection from Oral Antibiotics. Gosh, easy for me to say. So we got that news yesterday. That did pop TOVX here. Looks like that patent news already kind of dispersing here today. The stock is holding up 21.5%. Maybe it has put in a bottom here. Really, the only key level that I'm going to be observing here on TOVX is going to be 150. If we stay above that, maybe we can make it back to the VWAP and back to the consolidation area from the after hours yesterday above the 2 handle. But anything short of that, I think we'll look for some other plays here today.
Draw a trend line between the highs from when we got that initial pop through the the next high you see. I think that was from this morning when we first opened. Is that the candle? Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. That's the trend I'd be looking to break. And this, let's see, TOVX. This had volume yesterday, right?
It was in the after hours yesterday, but yes, technically it was yesterday.
I would think that maybe we see a little bit of relative volume here. Looking in the past, this hasn't really been big on relative volume, with the follow through into the next day. So maybe the fact that we got it in the after hours kind of helps, move it along just for a little bit this morning. I don't know, but I'd be watching for that trend that you just drew there. I'd be watching for a break of that, and that's also going to need to recapture VWAP in order to break that. So a couple of indicators to watch for upside in TOVX.
Okay. Real good stuff there, TOVX. Good morning, Wes. Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Big B is mentioning Hood is moving here. Anything related to crypto is moving. Boy, it wouldn't be a Christmas season if that weren't the case. We talked about Bitcoin curling a little bit earlier. Bitcoin has actually made a more significant move now. We are kind of curling back up to the highs. It does look like so far we're trying to like hold this 91, this low 90s handle here. So that's what's going on here with Bitcoin. Let's see if I can, let's see if the 1 minute chart actually looks pretty decent here. Can I reset this view? Here we go. So here is your 1 minute Bitcoin chart. Looks like we did kind of trade up out of this area here into a 96K handle. So good stuff there for Bitcoin. It looks like some of the other stocks are responding to that.
Yeah, not sure I'm liking the daily chart for Bitcoin. It looks a little bearish. So here's, and I don't want to say, oh yeah, we're definitely going down, but here's what I would need to see. I'd need to see them recapture 100K. I need to see Bitcoin get back above 100K in pretty short order here, because it's been lately. It's been hammering this these lows. Let's see here, like the 92,500 level. Let's just say that. Let's just say that that's kind of like the line in the sand. It's been, ever since we've been kind of getting up into the 90K area back in November. It's been kind of bouncing around between there and 100K. We have some trading above 100K, of course, but it needs to hold that that 92.5 area. You know what I'm saying? It looks like if we lose that, we're going to go under 90K. We might get some support from the 65 EMA, but if we lose that level, I think we go lower.
Okay.
Just the way it looks with this price action. Hopefully that's not the case. It'd be nice to see Bitcoin back over 100K, but that's going to have to happen soon.
I think I have a contest that my friend Jacob alerted me to about guessing the price for Bitcoin at the close on January 3rd. Either January 3rd or January 6th. And my guess was in a 105. 105,269, I think is the price that I put out there. So I too want this to get over 100K. I want to win that contest. The reward for winning that, an entire Bitcoin all to yourself. So that would be sick.
Wow.
To win that. Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot.
So we'll see. We'll see if we end up getting a good breakdown there on Bitcoin. We'll see how that affects some of the different Bitcoin names here today. Yeah.
Hood in particular, just looking at the daily chart, we lost the 20-day SMA back on the 18th, and it has not been able to recapture it. Could see a retest of that, and that 20-day SMA is currently, I currently have that at 38.78. So we're not too far away from there, but I have to think that if we can't recapture that soon, we're going to have another date with the 50 pretty soon.
Okay.
See what I'm saying there?
Yeah, that 50's at 33.11. Totally agree with you.
Yeah, so not being able to recapture the 20 is not looking great. So a little bit of caution there for me on Hood.
Okay. A couple of things to roll through here in the chat. Did you hear about the hostage situation at Nakatomi Plaza in LA? Yes, actually, I led with this news here. I had heard that there was a situation forming there, but I didn't have updated reports. Looks like they do have hostages now at Nakatomi. Okay, we'll see if any other reports come out of there. I did see a rumor that a body fell out of the building, but I wasn't able to confirm that. So we'll see if we get some confirmation. I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing the due diligence here. Like I said, I got X open. We'll see if we get any more reports on that. But looks like Nakatomi Plaza in LA having some trouble here today. Okay. Jay, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve. Jay, I got to be honest, after talking to you for all these years and meeting you, I got to imagine that somewhere in that closet, you have a killer Christmas sweater tucked away. You have a sense of humor. So I've got to think that you've got an absolute monster Christmas sweater somewhere. Let us know if you have that. Okay. You ask for a miracle, I give you the FBI. Really good. Really good. We're going to watch Die Hard here today. That is for certain. Also, I wanted to share this with you. I'm not I can't sing. And I like all of you. And I also like the job. So I don't want to A, get fired. I don't want B, for you guys to leave and never come back. So as a result, I'm going to not sing. But I did want to shout this out because our producer here did a really good job coming up with a Benzinga market edged theme Christmas song, the 12 days of market edge live. Are you ready for this? 12 stocks a rising, 11 bars a dropping, 10 calls a popping, 9 VWAPs breaking, 8 small caps moving, 7 tech stocks blasting, 6 volume gainers, 5 DMA, 4 altcoins, 3 pro alerts, 2 short reports, and a Powell and the FOMC. So that producer, I got to be honest with you, I wish that I had some type of musical ability. And if we have someone here at Benzinga that will not chase people away, you should absolutely have them record that and throw it up as a short, because the lyrics to that, or the words that you chose there, incredibly good, right? Incredibly good. So really good stuff there. Producer, you really outdid yourself. Okay. Anything else that you folks want to take a look at here today?
Well, we got 5 minutes, so make it a good pick. We'll take a look at it.
I'm just kind of watching the scanner here. Again, shout out to any of you pro customers. The new update for the scanner is amazing. Also, shout out to the percent relative volume column that I've added to my scanner here. This basically tells me if the stock has already reached its average volume. This is really helpful in the morning, so we'll see how that goes here. Looks like all of the stocks that we talked about are the ones on the list. CREV, AVGR, CTCX, this is a penny stock, a TIVC penny stock, but then our ATNF, DRCT, Tilray on there. So it looks like all those stocks are popping here.
And looks like, okay, so going through the list here of the things that we discussed this morning, JTAI, that's losing its VWAP currently. BAOS continues to leak through the 65 EMA, still having a hard time with getting back up to the VWAP after that head and shoulders that formed in the after hours. AVGR, that's currently trying to come back up to the VWAP. It's almost there, trying to break through that. So we'll see if it gets that going. CMND, this one also headed to the 65 EMA, might get support. Seems like 193 has been a bit of a support level in the pre-market here for CMND. Let's see if it can turn around there. ATNF kind of just going sideways after having a date with the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. It is currently almost $1 away from its VWAP. Prestige Wealth, PWM, that's also sideways with some intermittent pops trying to recapture VWAP on the 5-minute, but still unsuccessful there. And LAES also sideways, been going sideways for a long time, all pre-market in fact. So seems like between 6 and 675 is where the consolidation is for LAES. DRCT, another consolidator. This one just beneath the VWAP, trying to get support from the 65 EMA as well. This one seems to be compressing, so it might choose a direction as we open. And now looking at hour, this is popped up over VWAP, came right back in. Now it's trying to find a base and recapture VWAP. So far, not getting above VWAP as of yet. And finally, TOVX, we did that trend line. This one is popping over its VWAP, looking for a change in trend. And that breakout would probably be about somewhere between 160 and 180 if we end up getting that here towards the open.
Okay. Really good breakdown there. Really quick here, David, how come we can no longer filter by price on the movers? I'm not sure what you're talking about, boss, but you can absolutely filter on price. I'm doing it live here for you. Filtering by price, absolutely working here. Both the custom and the slider are working. So not sure what you're going through there. That 100%.
Interesting question that I saw was what about Boeing? I don't think we've looked at Boeing in a while, so I'm just taking a look at that. This has had a nice rebound off of the 137 area, going pretty much almost straight up every day. But you look at a longer term time frame, it looks much better. Getting currently extended here on this rebound. We're at a 75 RSI on the daily. And it looks to me like between let's say between 180 and 190, just in that $10 range. Just a pretty good amount of consolidation. So coming up to a supply zone. Also have the 500-day in the SMA in the way at 194.93, so we can just call that 195 if you want. We're about to open as well. So I would imagine with Boeing, we're going to come running into resistance pretty soon here. I would think that this needs to cool off before it tries to make its way through that consolidation.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Also, real quick, the results from the poll are in. 81% of you say we're going to finish green. 18% of you are Grinches who think we're going to finish in the red.
All right. We are open and looking around for what's moving. So far, doesn't seem anything that's interesting to me yet. Not sure about JTAI. Trying to get back above VWAP. MACD is saying that it could roll over, though.
CREV is trying to get going here.
Yep, 1424 is the or 25 is the high. Here we go. Now we're pushing up with CREV. It's got to get through this 1250 area. That seems to be where it's had most of its resistance.
Yeah, it's spread too.
Okay, well, that one can do its thing. I'm gonna look around and see what else we got here. Let's see what I think JTAI. Yeah, it's going to come down a little bit. MACD is indicating that this might roll over a little bit. So JTA, I'm just going to kind of watch. AVGR is halted. It hasn't done a whole lot, but it's halted to the downside after failing to recapture the VWAP.
And ATNF rolling to the lows. Kind of just falling out here.
Yeah, a lot of these that we just looking at are all kind of going down.
Yeah, Krev, maybe careful with this one. This one's, I almost want to wait for this to kind of settle a little bit. ATNF popped back here. JTAI looks like it's coming off that 65 EMA, but that was only on the 1 minute. So we'll see if that turns around here. TOVX did recapture its VWAP.
Yeah, I'm kind of on TOVX right now. I want to see this trend break. Because if we get that, we could get into the two handle. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Jay Rice, I can appreciate this. Looks like you incorporated our chatters in here, and I really love that you did 5 Ryan long drives. Look, if I get 5 long drives in one match, I'm doing really, really good. So I appreciate you there. And then also, Hustle and Bustle mentioning busiest travel day of the year. Something's going to fall off a plane or Boeing. Real quick. We actually already had a ground stop for American Airlines. Let's not have any more airport trouble on the busiest travel day of the year. How about that? How about that? And then Diamond Hotline, you wanted to take a look at rum. Is that doing anything here today? Looks like we're just kind of flat. We are at the top end of the pre-market range, so maybe watch yesterday's intraday high if we can get above there on Rumble. At a pretty nice looking daily chart here. We might just look for some more continuation. I don't necessarily see a setup for getting in here. Good morning, Judge. Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us here today. Hope you're well.
Morning, Judge. Just kind of watching to see what TOVX and JTAI. It looks like JTAI is going to try to go to 8 here. Oh, it's through 8. Okay.
Okay, JTAI. Let me bring that up here.
So trying to recapture VWAP, trying to nullify this MACD rolling over here. See if JTAI can get going. Okay, starting to move now. Might move into a halt here.
FRSX 13, you had mentioned this earlier. Look at this. This actually ramped right into the open and then took another leg up here. We still didn't have any news on this one, though, right? Friday, December 20th. Yeah, nothing. This is just that autonomous... Foresight Autonomous, no new news here. This looks like a continuation here. Giddy up though. This one, good call. You mentioned this early. FRSX.
I'm sorry, I don't remember mentioning it.
No, not you. Chatter 3D.
Sorry.
13. I think that sounded like 13, didn't it?
I think you said 13. That's why I was confused.
Maybe I did. I'm not even going to dispute that because maybe I did make the mistake. This is. Let's just really quickly.
It's either 3D. Way. It was good. It was a good call. 3D.
It's 3D. Feliz Navidad. There you go. Nice little pullback here. We'll see if this sets up at the VWAP. That's interesting there.
Yeah, JTAI also halted, by the way.
JTAI halted to the upside here. 834. Okay.
So let's see if it can take out 870 next.
AVGR is also halted, right? Looks like that
Yeah.
halted to the downside.
Baosheng Media, the
That's
China pump.
BOAS, right?
Yeah.
Or BAOS, excuse me.
Well, it's probably just BS, but it's
Okay,
trying
good.
to
Well done.
move above VWAP. So that one, JTAI, and maybe even TOVX, only ones that are looking interesting at the moment. CREV tried to push up through that remember we were talking about the consolidation on that one.
Oh, yeah, and this came right back down to that
Couldn't
support
get through
level.
it. Yeah. So
Well,
there
okay,
was that one.
so okay, here you go though. So this either needs to hold here and turn around right here, or is this halted?
I don't see it
No,
halted.
yeah, I don't see it halted
It
either.
might.
It's just not really moving
Now it's
here.
halted.
It is?
Yeah, now it's
it is
halted.
halted to the downside. Okay, so here you go, CREV. So it's either got a hold here. I would imagine out of this halt, we probably sell off, but let's see. This not looking good here on CREV.
Sahara, you're only going to really get halts in extended hours, like pre-market and after hours, when there's like news.
There are no, really quickly, sorry to interrupt. There are no volatility halts in the extended session. It's always been like that. Pre-market and otherwise, no volatility halts.
Yeah. Only halts you'll see in those timeframes are for news pending or for some material news coming out from the company.
Rumble at 66% of its average volume already here. Market's been open for 5 minutes. Rumble, this was a good call. Diamond Hotline, you were on this earlier here. This moving higher right out of the open. Watch that intraday high. We talked about this earlier. Watch that intraday high, 1460-ish.
BAOS still moving up. Looks like it's trying to go for 475. This was the one that had the head and shoulders, was resolving. Now it finally looks like it's trying to turn around, but I think 475 is the going to be the earliest resistance level I see there.
LITM almost at 100% of its average volume here today. Chris, indeed, tomorrow represents the first day of Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah. I'm doing a brisket for dinner. We're going to celebrate both days. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Y'all folks are awesome. Y'all folks are awesome.
Open. This one looks like it's trying to push higher.
Did you call it Avenger?
No, I said Avenger.
Oh, okay. I was like, because I heard Avenger and I was like, we got Marvel movie stuff happening right now. This actually does look like this did a pretty decent job holding 150 here.
Yeah, for the time being, it just needs to push above all these EMAs and VWAP and hold that. As soon as we get above 180, it's going to have some consolidation to deal with. So there is some. There's some issues up ahead here for this one. It's going to need some high volume to get through the consolidation it put in pre-market.
Okie dokie. Keep rolling through the list here. Don't have any trades on yet. I do see that someone had mentioned this in the pre-market. We didn't really get to it because there's no news, but ONDS, it's time, baby. It's time. We got to get above 5. Once we get above 5, then we can start talking about selling stuff. 5 and then double digits is what I'm looking for here. Let's get rolling on ONDS. DRCT halted to the downside here. Remember, 49 total halts yesterday. 49.
BTC now above 97. This is on a tear.
Not surprised for Christmas. That is continuing to pop here. How are some of those? How's MicroStrategy doing? Talk about that a little. MicroStrategy plus 4% here, up off the lows.
FRSX putting a high of 259. Pulled back a little bit. It looks like it's trying to go higher. Kind of just waiting for some of these to do their things. Looks like AVGR is trying to get pushed down further. We'll see if that ends up happening. Baosheng, that still looks like it's trying to push up. Still going for 475. JTAI is open and trading higher. Still has a little way to go before it gets to 1019.
Here we go on JTAI. RCAT, how's that doing here today? RCAT popping here. Looks like 1150 we're trying to grab.
Just like yesterday, we're not going to probably see a lot of follow through in these moves. So it's probably going to end up being a good idea to take gains as this strength pushes it into the higher numbers. Don't be afraid to just take in. Oh, look at AVXL. This just had a pop.
See it on my list here.
I think this is from yesterday.
XL. I did see that Rail Vision RVSN appearing on the list here. That's a penny stock now, by the way. Here is your AVXL.
And here goes JTAI. This is going to probably this could halt again if it pushes through 10.
Okay, good stuff here on JTAI too. Pulling back here a little bit.
Yeah.
Daniel, Ryan, let's see the sweater. You know what? I'll be honest, man. It's kind of a generic one. I do like it. It is super comfy, and it's the quarter zip. Quarter zip is really where it's at. But some of our chatters here have done a really good job bringing the heat to some of their sweaters. So have been really, really good. But there you go. Okay, Sarah Sassy, really good job here on JTAI.
Yeah.
I guess
Well
I
done.
clicked it 85 times. There we go. Really good stuff there. JTAI, bang, bang, bang.
Trying to push into 10, getting a lot of resistance trying to do so. If we continue with this volume, we could get a really big break over that 1019 pre-market high.
Krev is open and going lower. Oh my God, I hope nobody got hurt on that one. That's a nasty Christmas surprise right there. HOUR, hour trying to bounce. SPY going higher here, 596.
Going to 600. Going to 600 and probably going to consolidate or get rejected up there. That's what I'm expecting for the SPY. Oh,
You guys are mentioning Palantir.
Because it wouldn't be a Christmas
ripping, dude.
Yeah.
It is ripping here. 84. 84.
Continues to squeeze
move
shorts
out of the gate here, man. Oh man, yeah. How about it? I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to get into it.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be a hell of a short next year.
Yeah, I mean, we had someone trying to short it in this chat every day, telling people to short it since the 20s. So that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but there's some stuff that's really, really dangerous, and that was one of them.
Yeah, that's not one I would short. I don't have any of it right now, so I'm not participating in this rally. The risk doesn't make sense to me either way. I feel like if I buy, as soon as I buy it, it's going to probably end up just coming right back in, and I'll just be left with the bag. At the same time, if I try to short it, I'm just going to get squeezed.
Yep.
So I'll just watch the show and enjoy the gains that I have with this one. And whenever it decides it's going to come back in, I'll just look for some levels.
Yep. Just wait for it. Wait for a good level here. NCRA, this did pop here on volume, Jay. Really good stuff. This popped into a halt. So this one's halted here upside 137 NCRA.
I'm getting asked SPY 600 today. Maybe. I don't want to say yes for sure. Yesterday in Happy Hour was saying that this is going to definitely go and try and test 600. Might happen today, but if not, then obviously we'll get that price likely next week. But I'm expecting 600 in that area around 600 to give the price action a little bit of trouble. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. But it needs to get there first. So
okay.
That's what I'm waiting on. All right, so
INVZ popping to the highs here. Rich Tech Robotics. This has had a fairly decent multi-day move, seemingly out of nowhere.
yes,
ABAT also near the highs, 240. Sorry, 13.
No worries. And Buffalo by Bicycle is saying way better short plays than Palantir. Absolutely, because there's a big risk of getting completely squeezed out of Palantir. So absolutely, there's better plays, 100%.
Ryan, with FINRA data out today, we might see short plays popping for no reason. That's a good call there. That's possible. Tesla also, by the way, Tesla absolutely ripping to the highs here for anyone that's on Tesla.
All right, and BAOS almost to that level of 475, and we're gonna hit it almost there. It's just a matter of sense. And
I have this pushing right through the VWAP.
There it is. Well, I was just looking for 475.
Okay.
It just tapped it.
I have 474 at the high print there, but really, really good stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is where I would expect a little bit of resistance in it
Yeah.
to come back. And, it's pulling a little bit, but it
Yeah,
could still go higher.
And well, you know what? Maybe it pulls back, holds that VWAP, and then does that move. How would that would do really well?
That's what I'd be looking for.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. So let's see if CREV can get some support around 9 or, maybe just beneath 9.
BAOS right through those highs there.
Let's see. So since we're a little bit on BAOS right now, give us some other levels.
Yep.
Give you some other levels we could shoot for. These levels seem a little bit ridiculous.
So far, CREV has held 10. That thing's spready and dangerous, though, so just be careful.
Yeah, BAOS down to the 5 handle. This thing is going to tear. Maybe we get up to 685 with BAOS. That'd be the next level. That looks interesting to me. 6 could be a big resistance area, but I like 685 better.
Rumble, you guys were talking about this earlier. This stopped pretty much right at yesterday's intraday high. It's flagging. Looks like it's going to try and go higher here.
Let's see. With Rumble, maybe if it comes back and holds VWAP, that could happen first. It's a little bit extended on this 5-minute time frame. Where are we at on the daily?
BAOS continuing to rip here.
Yeah, RUM is a little bit extended. I'd like to see it come back in and kind of like springboard off the VWAP. That'd be the best case to me.
This is firming up a little bit. We'll see if that makes it back to the VWAP. LITM, that penny stock went right back to the VWAP. EWM, Laser Photonics, that's rolling over here. Someone mentioned PDYN again here today. I might as well take a look at that. That did pop and go higher here on PDYN. BAOS, this is so far been the trade of the day. More new highs here. This thing looks like it's got a 6 magnet in it.
Yeah, it might even hit the pre-market, or is this after hours? The after hours high from yesterday, 653. That's likely next before the level I was mentioning. I think it was 680 that I was talking about.
Okay.
All right, and Avenger just seems like it's just going to go lower.
That just opened here, breaking and going lower.
PWM is coming back up after rebounding off the 65 and 200 EMAs. It's going to have to get through this supply zone at about 150. But once it chews through that, it could really get going. And it's also above VWAP for the first time in a while. So this could PWM could get going.
I still have this under. It's so weird that our VWAPs are so different. Oh well. This does look like it could close the distance here to my VWAP at 156. DRCT is resumed. So it looks like that halted, went to the downside. It's trying to go higher here.
Looks like BAOS might be finding a top, short-term top. Almost hit 6 before it ran into some sellers.
ATNF rolls over. CREV trying to get back to the VWAP there. Watch that at VWAP on CREV.
Looks like TOVX is trying to recapture VWAP. Hour just broke through its VWAP. That's on the move. It's HOUR.
Okay, let's take a look here at that.
Looks like LAES is also trying to rebound after bottoming near 5.
FRSX, this is flagging higher here at about 250.
I don't like that price action in FRSX. Like it whips around and then goes right back to where it started. Still above VWAP though, so it's got that going for it.
CREV here, is this going to get halted to the upside? Looks like it. If it holds, it did not hold. Oh my, careful with this one. It tried. I wonder if it's going to have another volume push to try to go back up there. That might be a little bit difficult to trade though.
Yeah, somewhere between 1250 and 1275 looks like that could be a resistance area.
Okay, we'll see if we end up getting that. Krev so far has come back. We shall see. Pushing 1170. How's BAOS? That's still looking for that 6 spot.
Yeah, JTAI also came back underneath VWAP.
Lucid popping. Wow, Lucid. I feel like we rarely see trade up here.
That's still around.
I know. Saw another one of those driving last night. Looked awesome in the dark.
DRCT is, yeah, that's suspended to the downside. That has stopped right at its 200 EMA. So far, nothing out of DRCT yet.
Okay, it's lower here. CTCX, that is just a penny stock that fell like crazy.
Getting a little bit of pullback on BAOS. Don't know how much we'll get. This might have support around 520 now.
Krev above 12 on CREV.
It's trying to push, isn't it?
NCRA, this was another halt that Jay called. This going higher here on NCRA. Boy, this looks like this is trying to halt again here. What was this? NCRA. What was the deal here?
What was the news?
Well, I'm just wondering what this stock is. Here, let me take a look. Let me take a look here. Nocera is engaged in manufacturing and aquaculture equipment. Construction of aquaculture facilities, managing and operating aquaculture facilities. I don't even know what aquaculture is. Anyway, decent action here. It looks like it's maybe pulling back off that spot a little bit. This sure looked like this was going for 2. Let's take a look at the level 2 here. 202 has some size there. It's actually pulled back to its VWAP, didn't it? No, not quite. All right, what do we got?
No, it looks like a lot of things are just going sideways.
ONDS totally rolling over. So I'll tell you what, this is one of the reasons. One of the reasons why I'm just kind of waiting for the larger move here. Man, oh man, really awesome pre-market activity and really crappy regular market activity. We'll see if that changes here, though.
Yeah, I mean, you could see people going on vacation a lot quicker after these the first hour or so of the market being open. Things are looking a little bit thin and spready right now, aren't they?
Yep. Sure are.
But we are still getting the SPY to push up. We're at over 597 now.
Aquaculture is fish and seaweed farming. Appreciate you. NCRA, Dumpathon. Good night. Is this going to halt to the downside? Yep.
Diamond Hotline saying Rome will get to 1640.
Let me bring it up. Rumble taking that other leg higher here. This was a really good mention earlier today.
BTC keeps going strong. JTAI really falling now. BAOS still trying to figure out if it's going to get up to or through that 575. It looks like it's trying right now. AVGR trying to recapture VWAP.
I'm seeing some X calls get bought there. Those are 45 calls. Wow. 2000, that expires the January contract. Those are out of the money. That's interesting.
LAES continues to go lower. DRCT still halted. Hour still trying to recapture VWAP, not successful quite yet.
I'm just looking at the list here. BAOS halted at those pre-market highs.
Why is Soundhound down? Probably because it was a huge ripper and it needs to cool off.
I can bring it up here real quick. Let me actually step away for a sec once I bring sound up here. Oh, wow, this is getting really kind of sold into. Did we have any news on Soundhound? This is down 7%. No, I didn't have anything new here. Yep. Okay.
It was just super extended, so it needed to kind of come in. And MACD looks like it's rolling over. Yeah, this thing really does need to cool off.
Yeah. Okay, 13. I'm gonna step away for just 1 second. I'll be RB.
No problem. So let's see what's going on here. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of great things setting up for us right now. US Steel. That's because I think that whole deal is pretty much done for, right? Not getting a whole lot of price action. What else? Sound was $4 a few months ago. What do you expect? Yeah, crazy moves. Saying that BAOS is halted to the upside. Yeah, we broke through that the pre-market highs, so now we are halted. Let's see where this one goes. What levels do I have for this? Not a whole lot right off the bat. I don't know we're going to get. I think I said maybe 6. Did I say 680 on this one or something like that? Let's see here. Next upside level for BAOS could be 8. How about that? G-Man saying he's watching ABAT. Wiss is watching RVSN. LCID is a pump. Yeah, that company just loses money. Does nothing but lose money. All right. Rumble. This one's pushing up. Looks like TOVX is also trying to turn around here. Still beneath its VWAP, trying to go higher. Hour now getting a break over VWAP. This is going higher as well.
All right.
Trying to take out that 295 in the pre-market.
I noticed that the market at the highs here too. NASDAQ, SPY at the highs here.
Yep.
So it looks like some of these plays are also turning around.
Yep. Rumble trying to push higher, put in a 1478 high. Diamond saying that we were going to over 16. I don't remember the exact number, but he said we're going over 16 in Rumble. Looking around here, still waiting for TOVX to recapture VWAP. CREV is halted to the downside after losing VWAP. And we're just waiting for BAOS to unhalt. JTAI is under VWAP. This is going lower, it looks like. ATNF, waiting for this one to do a 180. Might be doing it soon. Let's see if it can hold the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Christopher Anthony Forsman is mentioning TRAW.
That was from yesterday. Yep.
Yep. That one had it sold out of the gate, found the bottom around 971, turned around, recaptured VWAP. Now it's finding resistance in the from the pre-market consolidation.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Had to handle something off screen here.
No worries.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Nice to see you. Makes sense. Ryan, what platform are you using? For what, Diamond? Well, the platform that I'm sharing here is Benzinga Pro. The same one every day.
Just kind of watching things go sideways at the moment. LAES might be trying to rebound.
NCRA might be trying to rebound after that pulled into a downside halt. I don't know. That might not have strength. FRSX, this kind of rolled over a little bit. JTAI totally rolled over. AVGR looks like that's trying to go lower here. I don't know. NVIDIA, someone asked NVIDIA if this would hold 140, and I said yes, I think that it would, given what we were seeing with the broader market here. Qs, by the way, at the highs, NASDAQ futures at the highs. Same with the SPY here. As a result, NVIDIA near the highs. Oh, no, diamonds. Again, you were not specific enough, buddy. I use multiple platforms. My broker, which is what I think you meant to ask, is indeed Thinkorswim.
All right, Rumble trying to push up to the next leg here. 1478 is the current intraday high.
Let's see if Rumble takes the top off there and goes for 15. That'd be sick. Here's the intraday high from yesterday, 13. Do we pop it again? We printed above it earlier, but we couldn't hold above it.
Now let's see here. Looks like CRAV is headed lower.
OKLO popped and turned around, or popped from yesterday, turned around from yesterday. OKLO 2250, that's another key level that it's been at a number of times. Looks like that's where it's back here today. CREV is resumed and going lower. This is where it bounced the first time.
Yeah, if it's going to bounce again, I think it bounces around $9.
Okay.
And TOVX is just sideways now. Hour is still trying to push up through VWAP, pulling a little bit, but it seems like it still wants to go for 3.
FRSX maybe bouncing here. Watch that VWAP, 3 cents from recapturing the VWAP there.
Waiting for BAOS to unhalt.
April Fool is mentioning if MSTR 355 gets rejected, then you're looking to short. Okay, so here is your MSTR. Okay, so you're looking to really kind of jump in there. Where did that 355 come from? I'm just speaking out loud.
LAES. This one looks like it's trying to turn around here. Needs to recapture VWAP.
April Fools, let me know what you do here on MSTR. LAES is what you were mentioning, huh? JTA.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm having trouble following along. It's my fault. 13.
No worries.
Wait, Fairchild, it's your birthday today?
Oh, happy birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday. Why are we hearing about this?
Merry birthday!
Merry birthday! Your birthday's on Christmas Eve. That's awesome. Totally get the holiday birthday. Having a birthday on St. Patrick's Day is always helpful. I would imagine Christmas Eve is similar, if not the same.
Looking to see if hour is going to push through 260 here. You need to see some big volume to do so.
Oh, your birthday's tomorrow. Okay, so your birthday's actually on Christmas.
There we go. There's hour starting to move. Trying to get that 295.
Nash mentioning that SPY's going for 600. Sure looks like it, boss. Yep. 597.60 right now. Looks like that is trying to push 600. Yep. Wouldn't shock me. NASDAQ also still at the highs.
Looks like we're starting to get some of these names to turn around and go sideways. ATNF, that one's trying to recapture VWAP. PWM, that's chewing through the pre-market consolidation. LAES also trying to recapture VWAP. Not quite there yet, but on its way. CREV seems to have bounced around, looks like
hour
920. Hour, yeah.
Yep, and that's really starting to go with volume here on hour.
Yeah.
Really good call on this 13. Damn.
Thanks. I mean, I don't know that I was the one that brought this up.
No, you were mentioning this. Just right when I sat back down, you were mentioning how this was starting to push away and accelerate from the VWAP. Then we got that big volume stick that took us right to the pre-market high. And now we're through. Now we're through. Okay.
All right. Upside levels. That's coming next. Let's see what I got. So we hit 3. Oh, we're almost to 1. Actually, yeah, 305 was a 200 week EMA. So we just tapped that. I have no other EMAs to look on. We've hit them all.
Okay.
Let's
We've
see
done
what
it
else I
all.
can find. Let's see what else I got here. They just have to be like, you know, some previous price level. So let's see here. 340 and 4 look like the next upside levels.
Jay mentioning ALAB here. ALAB hit another target. When is this thing going to chill? This has been a huge run on ALAB. And I know you've been all over it, been kind of waiting for this one to pull back and give us an entry here. Just never did any of that, Jay. Really good stuff on this one, though. Really good stuff. New highs here, ALAB.
BAOS is open. That's ripping higher as well. 866.
Sure is. This was probably the trade of the day here. VWAP crossed there on volume at $4.50. Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Trying to see if there's other levels I can see with this one. We're kind of coming up to an interesting consolidation area. Just give me a second. It looks like $10 is going to be another level
for BAOS.
Yeah.
Okay. FRSX couldn't get through its VWAP and really go there. NCRA hasn't turned around yet. Hi, buddy. What are you doing?
PWM has turned around though. That's trying to get going.
That actually moved through its VWAP. Good stuff there.
Mm-hmm. So hour hit $3. Probably gonna back test some levels. As long as we hold above VWAP, it looks like this could still push through 3 and go higher.
Okay.
Rumble, looks like Diamond Hotline is his call is working so far. It's got 1520 as the high, looking to break through 1550 and go up to that. I think it was 1640. You said, right? See if we get that.
Buddy's just traipsing around on the desk here.
What's
PWM? PWM got above that VWAP and really kind of pulled back here. Here's Rumble.
Jam is asking, what's with the AAPX knife? Let's take a look at AAPX. Oh, this is an Apple leverage ETF. Did Apple go down yesterday?
Did it gap down?
Yeah. Did it go down yesterday? Because
no.
AAPX is a 2x long ETF.
Apple is up like 0.6% here.
I guess that's why he's wondering why it has this big old knife. Let's see if there's any news on this.
Did it split or anything?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know why we.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't want to like make up an answer.
Mm-hmm.
HOUR, by the way, popped above 3. That is continuing to push here. That was a monster.
HOUR and BAOS. BAOS new highs. 885 was a new high.
Nice reload there, Izzy, on OMDS. Nice little hit. I think you hit the bottom pretty much spot on.
Yeah, it looks like SoundHound's going lower.
Yeah, good stuff there, hustle and bustle.
Nice double up on SPY calls. Where are we at with SPY?
Yeah, nice job.
Okay, so we're $2 away from 600. So there you go. 600 going into the Christmas, going into Christmas. So call it a rally if you want. I don't think it meets the parameters, but call it what you want.
VRTX, we're continuing our bounce here today. That's what we wanted to see. Would love to be able to sell those calls today. Actually, we're up over 100% at this point. I might as well get some offers out there, huh?
Volumes today aren't, particularly great.
No, they're not.
Hour just continues to rip.
Merry Christmas to you too, kitty guy. What are you doing up there?
Looking for or maybe 450 in an hour. That could possibly be next.
CREV trying to resolve lower here. Hour just continuing to rip.
Yep.
ONDS popping on some pretty big buying volume in there. Looks like I got a 13K share print. More big prints coming. ONDS, look for that to go back above 2. Here is your chart for ONDS. I got the VWAP there at 202. I'm not trading around my core in this. I'm just holding this one. I'm trading around other positions that I have, full disclosure.
DRCT still going down. This might be a halt test to the downside, but no support
stay away
yet.
from that.
Yeah, no support yet. Looks like LAES rebounding through VWAP. This could try and push higher, but it's got a lot of pre-market consolidation to deal with between 6 and 660, 670.
Nice little bounce here on LAES. AMPG, this did come back in here. This actually might turn around. Watch the volume here on AMPG. If you get a volume pop there, this might go to that VWAP. And man, this was a good 50 cents above the VWAP here. Nice 3D loading at the lows there. I like it.
BAOS now over 9.
What this was the move of the day, man. I'm disappointed. These past couple of days when we've had some really good moves, I've participated in them. But man, oh man, I just straight up missed this today, 13.
Well, it's not that we missed it. We just wanted to avoid trading the China names.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess guess you could say I'm being too hard on myself, but this was the trade of the day, and I'm not in it. I guess that's how I'll leave it there.
It's going to snare somebody. It's not going to be us.
Not me.
Hour with some pullback after having a nice breakout over the 295.
NVIDIA Nash, you had mentioned earlier you thought this is going to 145. Looks like we almost printed 142. We got a pullback here towards the VWAP, but I'll be honest, looking at the NASDAQ here, I still think, come on, Ryan, speak, man. I still think there is some strength here in some of these tech names. This move in the NASDAQ would really have to fizzle out for me to change my mind on that. Not sure we're going to get that. And by the way, what are we doing on SPY volume here?
BAOS is halted to the upside, 1030 now.
SPY volume 4.5 million. We're gonna be kind of a slower day here today. Here is your BAOS chart halted at 1030. Oh my God, 13. All right, did you trade this at all yet or no? I have 0 tickets.
No, I have not.
Yep. Okay.
Not BAOS. Very, very light trading today. Would like to have a good Christmas without extra baggage. LAES coming up to that consolidation, might run into trouble around 6.
Buffalo Bicycle saying, I still stink also. See, that's the thing. I don't though. I used some awesome cologne here this morning. I don't. It's great. Yeah, so Mo mentioning insane buy size was placed right before that halt. That, that's that manipulative tape that we often see in the China names. Looks like you're seeing that again. Tell you what, glad I'm not short. You think they're messing with the shorts, Mo? Think that's going to try and nuke some shorts?
Let's see if CMND can find support at the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. That's where it's at now.
Graph here. Graf Werta. I'm butchering your name entirely, and I'm sorry about that. I am going to give you a register ring as you made some change here on JTAI and BAOS. Really good stuff. Zoo wants to take a look at TRA. Where were you yesterday? This is one that we were looking at yesterday here. I had some pretty good trade in this yesterday. Now today, There is a nice little move off this $10 level, but honestly, Zhu, without the volume here today, I'm just not interested in this. Yesterday was a completely different story volume wise. Look what BAOS is doing here today, an hour. 13's on both of those. I'd rather trade those here than TRA. If the volume shows up in this name, maybe that's a little bit different. But as of right now, low volume here. I'd rather stay away. I'd rather stay away.
Bitcoin getting up to 97,700. Putting in a wick here that looks a little bit choppy. We'll have to see what happens in the next 15 minutes or so. But it looks like it's starting to top out here. All right, Rumble down to VWAP.
Big B's 40% on some SPY calls.
Nice.
Thinking I'm done now. Really good trade there. Big B's. You just buy the opening print there? Did you just buy the opening print there? Let me know. What are the settings on your scanner? Kalash Patel. Kalash, good question here. So really quickly, I'll go ahead and set this so this is actually easier to see here. Here you go. If you can see the screen, they are on screen. I'm going to briefly explain this 13 hour is going here. Do you have anything else to mention here real quick?
Nope. Was just going to say hour's going.
Okay. The scanner here that I use is basically centered around intraday relative volume. It's the RVol 5M30D filter that Benzinga Pro has. I have a minimum value there of 3, and that's basically saying in English that the volume that we're currently seeing has to be 300% the average of the same time frame. So anytime I look at it, it's comparing time frame to time frame. I also have change percent 1 minute, 0.2% because I'm trying to catch things that are curling up. And I have a minimum filter of 600,000 on the volume because it needs to be liquid enough for me to day trade. So there you go. There are my scanner settings for you. Hour halted here at 417, isn't it? Yep. Halted to the upside.
That is halted. We are looking at FRSX trying to turn around and get to VWAP. Rumble. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, FRSX. This is one that our chat mentioned earlier here. Okay, so we're only 4 cents away from VWAP. Good mention, 13. Yeah. Volume, not what we like to see here. We like to see this kick up, but that could still happen.
I just kind of cycling through all the names we looked at today, seeing which one's setting up, which ones are going lower. BAOS, this should unhalt at some point soon, I would imagine. And then we could see what it does. Maybe it gives us some trades. If you want to trade those China names.
Archer, I'm seeing some Archer calls flow across unusual options here. And oh my God, look at the chart on Archer. Someone was mentioning this one earlier as it was turning around. That was a really good mention here. Archer, I'm also seeing call flow support this move higher.
1014 was the high that we got to yesterday when we opened. So maybe that's a resistance spot. Looks like CREV trying to rebound. Still waiting to see what Bitcoin does. CMND might be turning around as well if it continues to get support from the 200 EMA.
SES for you penny players. This is really kind of pushing here. An SES. Your 600 SPY. That looks like that's coming here. We didn't print that yet, did we? I know we got close here. Let's see. We were a little bit higher here. Did we actually get no? No.
We're making the highs of the day right now.
Yeah.
So we're about $1.80 away.
Krev, from your recent call, we really need to kind of break, what is this, 450? Yeah, right here. It did pop above briefly. 1113 is what I have the VWAP there.
Yeah, it's certainly trying to push up now.
Diamond Hotline, my VWAP is just the stock indicator in Thinkorswim. I make no changes to it. So just add VWAP in Thinkorswim, and that's the VWAP that I use in Thinkorswim.
Add VWAP and don't think, just swim.
Well said. Thoughts on SES penny stock that's really
Here,
kind of pumping here today. I'm not interested in this. I'm just calling the action here. Maybe
here,
this does hit $1, but it looks extended here. I'd stay away. Yeah, which one?
here we go with Archer. I mean, we are like 9 cents away from the high from yesterday. So I'm just not sure what's going to happen if we're going to break through. Probably will, but I think that there might be some sellers up at that area as well. So maybe a little bit higher than 1014, but just be careful if you're trying to trade this. All right, so CREV went up to VWAP. Don't know if it's going to push through or not.
Right there at 11. That looks good, man. I'm not taking this though because
it's certainly trying to push up now. There was resistance at like just above 12, like at 1250. So be careful.
Yeah, it was a pretty hard reversal from that 1250 spot earlier. That actually sent us into a downside halt. Seems like a while ago, but that's how it went down.
Oh, it is whipping around right now. Looks like there's a big wall at 1156. It's getting chewed up right now. If that wall falls, it could start to run.
That thing can spread out too, so be careful with that. PDYN, Jay, you ringing the register on PDYN? I love it, Jay.
Broke
love
through
it,
that
man.
wall.
420 looks like the spot there.
Oh.
I know. Let's see if he shows up.
Let's see if he shows up
one more time. 420, 420, 420. Where is he at? The pot leaf signal is out.
See if he's smoking Christmas trees this year.
Oh, I like what you did there.
All right. So BAOS still halted. That's interesting. CREV, that was a really nice reversal and break through the VWAP. Looking for some follow through on this. Remember, we might not get
Hour is open. Sorry to interrupt you. Hours open and pulling off that high spot.
Yeah, so we might not. Oh, and there's CREV polling. Just as I was saying that we might not get a lot of follow through. So be careful with CREV. This thing could go anywhere. Might go back up to 1425. Might just pull right here. I can't say for sure, but it looks like the MACD's trying to curl. We are trying to recapture and hold VWAP. Lots of trying happening here. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can draw a trend line with this. We are actually trying to break over a trend in CREV right now. That this current 5-minute candle we're in went right to the trend line and was rejected. I think we could get if we can break this trend and close above it, we could see 1425 or maybe even higher. See how we've got a trend going on there?
It just kind of catches my eye. You're right on that, dude.
It's a perfect trend too.
Yeah. Dude, look at that. That is technical trading if I've ever seen an hour going higher now.
Holy cow.
450 looks to be that spot there on hour. The volume still looks good here too. That's the other thing that's just, I know this is super extended, but man.
All right. $5 is the next target I got. And then 585.
Okay. I mean, I might try a little bit of this just if it comes back in. I just can't chase it on this vertical move. That's my issue.
I'd like to be in this too, but I don't want to be the one that buys the top. So
yeah, exactly. I don't want to be that guy. Not today. BAOS continuing to go here. $12. Wow. This thing's way more spread than hour at the moment. This one, I feel like if I mess with this, I'm going to end up regretting it.
Yeah, if anybody that's already in those two that we just mentioned, do your thing. You're doing great. We are not going to be jumping into this to chase. Absolutely not. TOVX, still waiting for that trend to break as well. Need to get some volume expansion with this one, especially right about where it is. Get the volume to expand. We could break this trend that we're in. And then look at CREV after hitting that trend line, right back through VWAP and down lower. This might even halt to the downside.
TOVX here really needs to get through its VWAP. Look, CREV, we saw that when that tested some of the, there's a really good mention here. When that tested some of those upside levels and couldn't get through, this is actually what we saw earlier. This would be a repeat of what we saw earlier.
And yeah, Florida Yacht Insurance guy. FOMO is really, really tough to deal with when you're not in the.
Dude, I fight it every day, 13, every single day. No matter how much experience I have, I fight it every day.
But you know what? I've been on the other side of that before, where I was like, oh, I can't stand this FOMO. I got to jump into it, and guess what happened? It did not work out. So,
and it almost seems like it's immediate too, right? Like when you do that, you immediately get regret. Yep. You immediately have regret.
You just, as soon as you get in, you're like, now I want to get out. Archer, by the way, 1028 new intraday high.
Sam, I'll be honest with you, man. The way that you're asking stuff is concerning. Is it too late to pump? First of all, we don't want things to pump. Okay, pump is not a good thing when we're trading stocks. You said it would go to 14. You should not be taking any trade because of what we say. You should be looking for a setup here. I'm just saying, man, I wouldn't chase here. Don't ruin your Christmas Eve trying to. We just talked about FOMO here. Don't try to blow it here.
Yeah.
We don't know where stuff is going. We're trying to take calculated risk here. By the way, hour right through 5 here, this continuing to move higher. BAOS, the other one that looked like that, is continuing to sell off here.
Yeah, if I say stock's trying to do something, that doesn't mean that it's going to do it. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing right now. And you gotta take, don't take a trade just because of something we said.
And the other, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say the other thing is that we're fast. And like, I know, like I just interrupted you literally right then. Like we go back and forth. We're shouting out a lot of stuff here. The point here is to help you identify setups. Like the point is not to just go after things. Like you want to have a tactical approach to things.
Yeah. I've
tried to call as many as possible.
I've seen those rooms here. Archer's still going higher. I've seen those rooms that, say, oh yeah, this is going to go here. You should all start buying now. And that's just a room that's trying to get some liquidity into the stock they're talking about so they can make their exit. I don't want to ever be involved with anything like that. I don't even want to even suggest that that's something that we even come close to doing. We're just trying to help folks identify trades, show them what's looking good, where it could potentially go, what the price action might be, and they can take a trade based off that if they want. But we're not telling people to jump in, jump out. We're just trying to help them protect themselves and not take risky trades that don't seem to be working out. Soundhound, by the way, this thing went down to 1885 and rebounded like crazy. At the end of the day, you are the one that trades your stock, not us.
You know what we might need to do? So some of these AI names that are really like Soundhound, like some of these that are volatile and really, have drastic moves like this. Like we got to keep these on our radar. Like even yesterday, Soundhound, this really sold off yesterday. 1980 bounced an entire point. Looks like it's doing the same thing here again, right? Went down to 19, bounced an entire point. There's ways to kind of watch some of these and see if these give us some type of opportunity here. I'm disappointed that I didn't trade Soundhound here today. I guess I'd like to see a little bit more volume now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, we should watch some of these moves because even if that first move is down, it doesn't mean that the moves are off the table.
Yeah, we're not trading Soundhound because that thing has been very extended, and there's a lot higher risk of losing on that trade than there is winning. I mean, you could try to jump in and ride it if you want, and then just exit before it starts to pull.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of risks associated with that. You just for me, I wouldn't be jumping into Archer right now. This doesn't the risk isn't there, isn't worth it to me right now.
Tesla pulled back to the VWAP, bounced, going back towards the highs. 252 your high print there so far on Tesla.
Hour coming back in after hitting 546. I remember 1885 in Soundhound being a level. Let me see if I can figure out where that's from. That has been a pretty frequent level. 1885.
So I was looking at Opera here, OPRA. Looking at the daily chart. Krev halted to the downside. You mentioned that one already. Sorry. Sorry.
Good morning, Crow. BBAI Strong says Brian?
Oh yeah, it actually just took out the pre-market highs there.
355 is a level I have for BBAI. That's actually a pretty big resistance level. On a daily chart, it shows that we have not been able to close above that for a while. The only time we did close above it was on the 9th of December, and that was the only day we popped above it and closed above it. Everything else slower.
Real quickly, Big B is mentioning SEC charges 8 social. Is this new? In $100 million stock manipulation scheme promoted on Discord and Twitter. Is this a new thing or is this like one of the old ones? Because I didn't see any news from that today.
Either way, that illustrates our point.
Yeah, it sure does.
We are not here to do that. BAOS 1366. That was the high we just put in, and now we're pulling. I don't want to say BAOS is done until we start losing some levels. For me, if we start trading beneath $7, then I think that we might want to just take BAOS off our screen and look for something else.
Okay. Yeah. Big B's, you mentioned that was an older one. I was going to say that sounds familiar, and I didn't see anything new here, but appreciate that. But that does, like 13 said, that does illustrate our point. SVMH getting mentioned here. SVMH.
High volume. Robert also mentioning
3-cent penny stock. So who's really bringing this up? Like, come on. No one's looking at a 3-cent penny stock. We got to put some rules on the show here. 3-cent penny stock's not working. Not okay.
Archer is working, and that's about to take out its high from earlier this month of 1058. All right. Still looking for that 355 breakout in BBAI. I mean, I'll tell you, if it closes over 355, that could be a pretty good setup for the 26th of December.
Krev holding here, 1030.
This thing has been wild, and I say that with an asterisk. Like, I'm looking at the price action. It looks like just a regular stock trading, but the moves we've been getting in these 5-minute candles have been pretty large. I mean, it's went down to 950, and then it went up to over 11 in just 5-minute span.
That trend was so good though. 13.
Yeah, and it's still in play. I mean, if we do push up here and recapture VWAP, I'd be looking for that trend to break. And let's say if it does break, then we're looking at 1425 would be the upside target.
Jeff, markets close at 1 p.m. Eastern today. 1 p.m. Eastern.
FRSX is also trying to get above its VWAP as well. Low volume. Let's look at some of the volume in some of these names. Our has good volume. Some of these other ones not so much. Looks like AVGR is trying to turn around and go back to VWAP. Don't know how much we're going to get out of that. BAOS is starting to lose volume. I would say after this 5-minute candle that we're in, BAOS would have to start showing some green on the screen and push up through that 1366 high that it made.
Okay. UMAC getting mentioned here by Jay. That actually dipped out of the open and is now at the highs, looking for those pre-market highs at 1648. JTAI coming in, AVGR is trying to bounce. Hours still up there near the highs, so really nothing has changed here. Rumble, that was bouncing off the VWAP. That's actually back to the VWAP here on Rumble. NNE spiking. We saw Oklo up earlier, so this is another one. Nano nuclear energy. This is moving here. How is OKLO doing? That was actually trading well earlier today, Robert. That's also at the highs here. Really good buying volume. I bet SMR is similar then. All of these look the same. Good stuff.
With Archer, keep in mind that they have a catalyst coming up, and they announced that their Georgia facility is starting production. That's supposed to happen in early next year. I anticipate January, maybe February. Once that headline comes across, this thing could, pop and then maybe sell off. We are approaching 11 today in Archer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we are really we're pretty extended here on this one. So think that we might see some cooling off here pretty soon if we don't get that news soon. But I expect that to get that headline at some point soon. Also, keep in mind there's been some pretty good insider selling in this.
Once again, volume really told the story here on Archer, and especially on this 5-minute chart. You can really kind of line up exactly where we were doing some damage. Really good stuff. Ivan mentioning, Ryan, thanks for the VRTX mention yesterday. Are you trading that one? If so, good stuff. I know it's a little bit higher here today on low volume. The calls that I bought expire at the end of this week, but if this really kind of prints 410 here today, we'll probably exit this here today just so we don't lose any of that on the decay over Christmas. We'll see though. I've got some time here. It's been nice here today. Really like to see one more push here for those calls, but on the offer with some of those calls there, we'll see if that gets filled. I got time on it, so I'm not necessarily worried about it at the moment. Krev at the low end of the range here, 13. So this might actually be setting up for another move back to the trend line here. The VWAP will tell us if it's going to go.
Looks like Archer's getting a little bit of a pullback now. All right.
Check in here on the broader market here real quick.
iBit is up 5%.
Oh, dude, I sorry, I crashed my platform. Put 13 on full screen there with the Santa hat.
Hello.
Sorry about that. I'll fix it here. There we go. Okay, we loading back in here. I wanted to go to. Oh my God, it's going to crash it again.
No, don't crash.
Nope, it didn't. There we go. There. Oh, hey. So speaking of Christmas, we got a lot of green on the heat map here today. I guess there's little pockets of red in here, but it's really not all that red. Here we go, green. Remember, we asked the poll earlier, do we close green here today? I think it was like 79% of you voted for a green close. Looking pretty good. Also, several of you were calling for SPY to 600. 598.74 your high here on SPY. So it does look like that 600 is possible here today. Let's bring up a chart of the SPY. Oh yeah, looks like we were above 599 earlier. Make that final push.
Ivan saying that Lilium is not going insolvent. There's a deal that's been reached. That must be some news that just came across because thought that company was having some financial issues.
LILM? I have nothing.
It's LILMF now.
That would be why. So this did pop intraday here. Oh my God, you guys, another 4-cent stock popping. I mean, it is several %, but man, oh man. Yeah, I'll let you guys deal with that. Let me know how it goes. I'm sorry. I'm just not even going to mess around with that. That's just I know. Got to know your. I
really liked the aircraft. I think it's great. The company just seems to have some trouble with their finances, but if they can get that company off the ground, so to speak, it could be a big player in the eVTOL space. I still think the big one that's private that I think is going to do the best, because it's just really interesting, and it's still further back than some of these other ones like Archer and Joby are much further ahead. Cyclotech. I know, Brian, I've shown you that aircraft before. Really interesting. It's just basically just little spinning drums that have fan blades on the inside that can change direction. So really interesting. Look up Cyclotech if you are interested in eVTOLs.
Yeah, you did show me this. Real quickly here, David. Know nothing about it, but SNTG is moving. Here is your SNTG. I don't see any news on this, plus 70% here. Moving on really good volume. Don't see it accompanied by any news. This is a good mention.
Looks like CREV is trying to get back up to VWAP. Archer just continues to rip. It looks like it's going for 11. BBAI almost at 355. Actually, it just it's a penny shy of tapping 355.
How is BBAI not showing up on the volume? Looked good. How is it not?
All right, I think BAOS is still trying to go here.
Oh, it is on this guy. I just missed it. BBAI almost at 100% its relative volume here.
And BAOS is really starting to push, trying to get back up to the well, it's in the 11 handle now again, trying to take out the 1366 that it did.
Hustle and bustle. Those Christmas cookies aren't going to eat themselves. Thank you all. Merry Christmas, hustle and bustle, and happy holidays. Thanks for all your support here this year. We look forward to a very profitable 2025. Oh, and by the way, I know I've talked a lot about my producer recently, or my producers. They do a really great job in the back, bringing you graphics and all some of this other stuff, poll questions and stuff that you guys are participating in. There's going to be more of that stuff in 2025. They got some improvements planned for the stream here. Really, really excited about it. So I'm excited to share that with all of you in 2025.
Yeah, sound is absolutely ripping. All these real speculative names that we've been looking at and trading are just going crazy today.
BTDR is in our Bitcoin play. Robert, I know that you mentioned this one quite a bit here. BTDR at the highs, decent volume today.
Yeah. ABAT is $3 plus. Cooler is over $3. Let's take a look at the Space Watch list, see how that's looking today. Really, the only ones that are not up today are IRDM, SIDU, and VSAT. Everything else green.
Chris, if I could, I would, but I cannot, man. We actually are a little short-staffed here, and I got to go help out with some other stuff. But I hope that you all have a great Christmas Eve.
And Fairchild, I haven't looked. I've seen Blackfly, but I'll have to take a look at that. Also, how about that Packers game?
Saint man, I'll tell you what, I was actually pissed about that. Going into the game, I thought to myself, 13, I was like, there is absolutely no way that the Saints are even going to have a chance. Like, forget covering and all of that. Like, they're not even going to have a chance. So I whipped up a parlay with my winnings from the weekend, which was awesome. I whipped up a parlay. I had a Josh Jacobs, like 80 yards. I had a Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown. I had Jordan Love yards, Jaden Reed yards, and Romeo Dobbs yards. And it was such a beatdown that they started pulling players. After Jacobs got his touchdown, I guess they tweaked his ankle or something. So they pulled him just to be safe because they didn't need him. They pulled Jordan Love out and brought Malik Willis in.
Yep.
He didn't get his yard prop. I had like the right things picked. And if the Saints could have even just shown a pulse and scored maybe one or two scores, I probably would have cashed another parlay. But Saints got their doors blown off, so nothing cashed. And the Blackhawks lost. The Blackhawks put up a pretty good fight against the Wild last night. They ended up losing. That was a bummer.
Rumble, this thing is absolutely getting hammered right now.
That was interesting because that was stronger earlier today.
Well, I'm pointing this out because this is something we could start to see these other names. They could start coming back in just like Rumble. So be careful. BBAI just hit that 355. So that could be another one that starts to turn around and come in a little bit. Looks like TOVX is trying to break the trend. Let's see if that ends up happening. Avenger, this one's turning around. CMND, that's trying to turn around. Same with ATNF, trying to, 180 Life Sciences trying to do 180. PWM, this one popped, and this is another situation with like Rumble. This just came right back in and lost VWAP. LAES trying to get back above VWAP. I don't think we need to really cover DRCT. This thing has just been down all morning, but maybe it has found a bottom. Hour, starting to roll over as well. So, we're starting to see a lot of these runners come back in.
Here's your DRCT. This flagging lower here at about 4. UMAC, Fuzzy Panda comments. Jay, I appreciate that. Let's take, so UMAC here. So is this fresh here? Fuzzy Panda. Tuesday, December 24th. This happened 4 minutes ago. Jay, good stuff there. Wow, this is a new management strategy. UMAC essentially just published a short report on themselves. We were inclined to agree with their analysis. Fuzzy Panda doing them dirty here. Now, careful with it. Haven't we seen a Fuzzy Panda one go the other way?
Hold on. I got to see this.
Yeah, let me see if I don't follow that. We just filled partial on those VRTX calls. Locked in here, 120%. Impossible for this trade to go red. I'm going to give myself a register ring. Anyway, here's the Fuzzy Panda. This is the account that I follow. Here's the tweet. So they are quoting this from a UMAC news release, source in the tweet here. I just want to make sure I don't misspeak here. Monday, December 23rd, there was a press release. In the press release from the owned company, quote, leading up to our IPO, we identified concerns with our auditing firm. Notably, the firm we left was later deemed unsuitable for hundreds of other companies. Okay.
That's not great.
Yeah, no, this doesn't read. I don't have any position here. I don't want to make a call on this, but man, oh man, this does not read good, at least on the surface here. Let me know, for those of you that play short reports, okay, a lot happened there. My brain just short circuited. For those of you that play short reports, let me know what you think about this. 13, guess who's here?
Tell me.
Wisdom.
Hey,
we called you earlier. We said 420, 420, 420, and we threw up the giant pot leaf in the sky. And sure enough, here he comes. Hey, you guys win my chunk voice Goonies for life. Much love to every single one of you crazy stock traders. Okay, Wisdom. I don't know what that means, but lol.
You don't know what chunk? Well, it's not. It's
is that
Sloth.
from the Goonies, right?
Yeah, but Chunk was the kid.
Yeah,
he didn't say, "Hey, you guys." That was Sloth.
Yeah, I will say this. You take shots at me if you want to. I'm not a Goonies fan. I have seen it a long time ago. Never really enjoyed it. So,
it was a great
I know. I don't want to offend you guys. I'm sorry about that.
You're not going to offend me, but I'm just going to stand in that crowd and be like,
looks like I offended you. It sounds awful lot. I've offended others before, and it sounded a lot like that. Go Steve Go says, this is why I stopped betting. Look, man, it's fun. Here's the thing about sports betting. Keep the bets small. That way you still feel like you have a piece of the action. When you lose, you're like, doesn't really bother me. That's what I say. Anyway, so the Celebration mid-news report there, VRTX, we did not quite get 10 prints. I was sitting on the offer. For partial those. Paid $1.25 for the calls. Sold the first level there at 3. So more than a double up. Really good stuff there, VRTX. And if you recall correctly, folks, so 13, actually, we will do a victory lap here because I actually talked about some of the charts that we talked about yesterday on Happy Hour. Starbucks, and I didn't talk about Lamb Weston if you want to do that, but nonetheless here, this started with LMT. These trades started with Lockheed Martin, and a big thanks to you because you had mentioned a number of times this stock and how it was coming into a level. Well, we came into the 500-day moving average, bought calls on Thursday last week that expired Friday, sold them on Friday for 100%. Awesome. We booked that. I posted that in the chat, in Pro Chat. I then took profit from that to roll into VRTX. Why? Because we were holding the same moving average. We gapped down on negative phase 2 data. We actually held this for 2 days, rolled some profit into this. Now we're starting to push up. Buying volume looks all good here. And this trade is partially booked here today. So setups at the moving averages have worked so far. We're raising more capital, clearing the decks here today. So that's what's going on there. VRTX. Judge, take care of yourself, man. Thanks for showing up
Take
here.
care, Judge.
You are amazing. Merry Christmas. And as always, Judge, keep putting positive energy into the universe. We need more people like you, boss. McAdams' family wants to talk to
for Lockheed Martin, we did get that nice bounce off the 500-day SMA, and the RSI is still pretty low. I could see this stock trading back up to 500, but I think it's going to run into some resistance at that level. I still anticipate that this ends up going lower. We have the 50-day SMA coming down towards the 200, so we have a potential death cross approaching. So that's the kind of price action I'd be anticipating here. The stock's going to try and trade above 500. It's going to get rejected, and I think it's going to lose the 500-day SMA and potentially go lower. I still think at this point it's more fairly valued than it was when it was over 600. But I still want to get a better price because I don't want to get things at fair value. I want them beneath their fair value if I'm going to hold it for long term.
Really good stuff there, 13. Really good stuff there. Let me go back to my main workspace here real quick. That was 140% gain, by the way, on the VRTX trade.
Excellent. Okay, so seeing that we were getting mentions of SMCI. Oh, look, they have Q1 earnings in 14 days. I doubt we'll see anything out of that.
I was going to say, we'll see if they have earnings there.
I still think this is an absolute scam company. I know they have products. I know they make servers and whatnot, but read that Hindenburg short report. You'll think otherwise. The 50-day SMA, it's pushed over that for the time being. We need to see it close above that. Otherwise, I think we might see the downside a little bit sooner than later.
PDYN, 75% its average volume here. Another leg higher here. Jay, this was a good sell earlier. We're at the pre-market highs from yesterday on PDYN. This would have been a decent trade here today. Didn't take this at all, unfortunately. BAOS, where are we at there? That came back in. Okay. AVGR is trying to bounce, but I don't trust it. Krev just still holding in there. I wouldn't trust that either. NCRA completely round tripped. Maybe this gets going, but I don't know. SES sunk.
Wow. AVGR, that's a nice turnaround there.
Yeah, it is.
Cooler calls are green.
Nice job there. BBAI getting mentioned. Still holding higher here. Rigetti, RGTI, it's been enough. How are the quantum names doing? Rigetti's doing all right here. QMCO, let's take a look at that. QMCO doing all right. QUBT. These look like they kind of calmed down here today. None of the quantum names really seem to be popping. Rigetti actually looks the best.
Maybe they pop, after Christmas. I mean, I expect with how many of these, speculative names that have moved today, I think that it's just a matter of, rotating between the speculative names for the rest of the year. So we can end up seeing, some rotation into, that one. What are the themes that we've talked? We could see more space stocks move on seemingly little. More AI names could move as well. I mean, all the speculative names that we've been looking at, Bitcoin names. Not like MSTR or Mara, but like some of those junkier ones that are just now, financing for machines and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. Don't trust these moves. I mean, like we were saying at the beginning, there's very little follow through. It could, take the gains as you're getting them because you might see a quick pull otherwise. LAES pushing up, by the way.
And also, again, half day here. Market closes at 1 p.m. We are only traded 8 million shares here on the SPY. I totally agree with Robert and 13 here. Remember to take profits. Like, it's okay. All right. It's okay if you book gains here, like VRTX, for example. That's not a good example because we're scaling out of that anyway. But I feel okay selling stuff here for a gain, especially when
Yeah.
the gains are good, you know?
And I don't know who needs to hear it, but this market will be open on the 26th. We
Yeah.
will have more trades available for us. We will be able to find these movers and we will trade them and we will make money off them. So don't be afraid to, exit positions going into this holiday. Exit them when it makes sense for you.
Okay.
But just, don't get yourself into a situation where you're not going to be able to trade as much after the holiday.
SKYT getting mentioned here. This actually several point move here. SKYT.
Yeah, super. That's it. Put a stop loss in there just in case some of these names aren't working out, because we've seen some of these things just pull for no reason. I mean, look at BAOS now. After hitting 1366, it's almost cut in half.
Yeah. J. Michael here. Take care of yourself, man. Have a great Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. We'll be back. We'll be back the day after Christmas. No returning gifts over here. We're going to be right back here making some more money. So have a great Christmas with your family, my man.
Okay, so just taking a quick look at the SPY here, since we were getting a mention that the SPY and Qs are pulling. Got a high.
They pulled off their high, but they're not doing all that bad.
Just was looking at to see if we ended up getting to 600. Our high in SPY today is 598.81. We're actually trying to put in some new highs as we speak here. Maybe we're getting close to the top, because we are close to that 600 level. Possibly we could see that. Now, if we do get to 600 and when the market starts to look weak, I'd expect to put a decent sized wick on this candle today. But that's just what my expectation is. The reality might be a lot different.
TOVX holding lower, ATNF holding lower, FRSX right beneath the VWAP, CREV holding lower here. Joby pushing higher. That's on that Archer move, I'm guessing. Rumble here right back to flat.
Yeah, that bounced off the 1250, 1260 support area. Actually, that was kind of the support area we got in the when we opened, and then it just flew right off that area.
What do you think of? Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, now we're getting a bit of a bear flag in this after losing 1360. If we trade up to the 200 day SMA and cannot, or even the 65 I'm sorry, not day SMA, but on the 5-minute chart, if we trade up to there and can't recapture that, I think that might be your signal that this is going lower. For some of these speculative names and these big movers today, I think a lot of the really good movement is in, and we do have a short day, so you're going to have a little bit of a time limit as to how long you can be in these things. Mm-hmm. Especially if the volume starts to wane and the trade isn't starting to work out, you might not get the follow through you're looking for.
And Rumble does look like it's trying to bounce off that even spot there on Rumble. Real quickly here, we can go to what do you think here? Let me actually get Rumble up here real fast. RUM. What do you think of these wicks on the daily? This has me nervous. We got a question here about, is this buyable on the dip? And I would say yes for a short term. Make sure you have your stop there. But looking at the daily chart here, I'd really want to see a push higher above 14 and maybe even a 15 test. These wicks here, this almost makes me think that we're kind of due for a pullback. Totally overcooked RSI here. Wicks higher. I could see this pulling back and really testing the bottom end of that first candle there.
I could also see one scenario where on the 26th on Thursday, this gives similar price action where I don't know what we're going to open, but we could push back up towards that 1550 area, and then come right back in, creating a third candle with an upper shadow. So okay. I could see that potentially happening. Okay. But yes, to your point about the how about the way these wicks look on the daily, this is not something I would want to be picking up for the long haul.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, good stuff there. I'm that's kind of what I'm worried about too. Good stuff, 13. Hope that helped, Sam. Crimp Biscuit here saying, Ryan, by the way, Ryan, a goal for you is to own a virtual golf clubhouse with a refreshments bar and some TVs. hey, Crimp Biscuit, anytime you want to help me get that goal achieved, I'm all about that. That would be awesome. I would probably spend most of my Christmas in a golf simulator, especially if I had my own refreshments and a bunch of TVs in there. That sounds blissful, my man. Wisdom here. I gotta say, at least for me, he's way off here. 13, you're gonna have to say if he's off on you. Ryan, I bet you're a green bean salad with crunchy onion curls guy. Okay, crunchy onion curls are absolutely fantastic. A green bean salad. I'd rather pry my eyes out with spoons, dude. There's no way that's the type of thing that I don't serve that on Christmas.
I think
I'm
he means green
about
bean
the
casserole.
I'm about the brisket and potatoes there. 13 is a yams with marshmallows guy. Are you?
I never really liked. So I like yams and I like marshmallows, but I've never really liked the yam and marshmallow. That dish that's usually made. One thing that I had that was absolutely insane, and it was with marshmallows and yams, but the yams were fries. I don't know who made this, but it was the craziest and probably the most calorie-inducing thing I've ever eaten. But it was just this whole huge plate of sweet potato fries, and on it had brown sugar mixed with maple syrup, all drizzled all over that thing with melted marshmallows on top. This thing was insane. It was absolutely divine.
That sounds really good, honestly.
But the yams with marshmallows, I guess that texture wasn't wasn't for me. But I loved the fries with the marshmallow. That was great.
Okay,
here I am again.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to give it. We're done here for the day. Christmas Eve is upon us, folks. I just want to personally thank each and every one of you for joining us here today. I love the community that we have created here. I love all of the participation. I love that we're able to have some jokes and poke fun at one another and all of that stuff right here. So none of this would be possible without you folks. And so going into 2025, I'm going to be thankful here for Christmas, and going into 2025, I'm looking for an even better, more profitable year for all of us in 2025. So Merry Christmas. 13, we're done here for the day. I do want to remind you folks, looking ahead here, no show tomorrow, obviously, with the market being closed. 13 and I will be back on December 26th and December 27th. So 13, don't get too plowed tomorrow for Christmas. Let's make sure we can get back here and make some money on the 26th.
I will be here on the 26th. And to echo Ryan, folks, it's wonderful trading with y'all. And I do hope to see more of you on Thursday. I hope that, when we trade together and we learn from each other, that we're taking this and we're, using it in our daily lives to help make other folks better. That's kind of our mission when we come on here. We're hoping to make better traders out of everybody, hoping to find good setups and promote good discipline in trading and good financial literacy. So happy to have all you here with us. Looking forward to what 2025 is going to hold. I'll see everybody on Thursday. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Well said. Well said, 13. I'm going to leave you again with the Christmas Benzinga Market Edge song. As we sign off here. 12 stocks are rising, 11 bars are dropping, 10 calls are popping, 9 VWAPs breaking, 8 small caps moving, 7 tech stocks blasting, 6 volume gainers, 5 DMA, 4 altcoins, 3 pro alerts, 2 short reports, and a Powell and the FOMC.